Hello and welcome. We are Ghostlight RPGs, and tonight we are streaming Rising Shadows, the epic saga, I think over 60-part saga of Moonshae Isles adventures, produced and published by Baldman Games for the Adventurers League of Dungeons and Dragons. My name's Graham Ward, he, him. Welcome. I will be your dungeon master tonight, and I have some illustrious, wonderful, creative, and absolutely delightful human beings here with me. Thank you all so much for joining. If you haven't watched one of our streams before, we are theater artists primarily. Obviously, we've got some guests and changing up the lineup a little bit to stop everyone who's on the stream right now from panicking. Like, I don't do theater. And we produce a variety of tabletop role-playing game content here on our channel, and we stream several times a week, including this series, which is on Tuesdays. And we're streaming to support Jasper's Game Day, a fantastic charity that raises funds for suicide awareness and prevention, an absolutely phenomenal cause. And tonight we have a goal to raise some money for them. So we'll get back to that in a second. But before we go on any further, why don't we go around and quickly introduce ourselves? Let's do a popcorn style where maybe I'll call on someone first and then we can kind of pass it to someone until we get everyone. Does that sound good? We've all been in seminars before.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I will pass it to one of our new players here this week, Toni.
Dang it, I knew you were going to pick me first.
How did you know?
So what did you want me to do? Just introduce my character?
Yeah, just let us know
what?
kind of what your, what kind of work you do, what your relationship is to the Moonshae Isles stuff. And then, if you want to share where people can find your work or whatever, feel free.
My name is Toni Winslow-Brill, and I do all kinds of different things. Currently, I am taking over for Eric Menge as the Moonshae story lead. I am also one of the new Adventure League admins, and I do a lot of writing and contract work, and I do all kinds of fun things, I think. If you wanted to get a hold of me, because please, I'm not scary and I'm not mean, I promise, you can do so either on Twitter at Vorgryth, VORGRYTH, or you can do the same on Instagram, but I don't really use that very well.
Same.
And I can be found on Discord for the same.
Yay, thank you. And then feel free to pass it to someone.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, we're going to start at the top. We're going to go get Jess there.
Hello. I'm Jess. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a writer, editor, and podcaster. You can find the podcast I do, D20 Dames, is a family-friendly D&D podcast. And we just wrapped our series and are going to start something new soon, but you can find all of that on d20dames.com. And you can find all of the writing and stuff that I do on my website, writejess.com, WRITEJSS.com. And my relationship to Moonshae Isles is this awesome stream. And also, I wrote an adventure that Graham just said the number of earlier, and I've already forgotten because I wrote it like 2 years ago.
13-2.
Thank you. 13-2.
I love it.
And we'll go with Connor.
Hi, everybody. It's awesome to see you. My name is Connor. My pronouns are he or they. I am a mental health counselor by day. And I also moonlight with a lot of freelance work, writing adventures, doing interviews on gaming and mental health and the like. My recent works include The Red War with my collaborator and often co-villain, Ian, who will introduce himself later. I also, in the last week, had an article for our Arcadia released. Today, the new adventure I wrote for Adventurers League, DRW 16 Uprising came out. And this weekend at Winter Fantasy, you can play my offering to the Moonshae series, DRW 02 Unsee the Unseelie. So it's really great to see everybody.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pass it to a new player who I am so excited to meet, Hammer.
Go ahead, Jacky.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jacky. And you can find me on Twitter at DeathByMage, and my pronouns are he, him. I will say that I'm trying to remember my own Moonshae adventure. When did I write it? Because it's already been a while. It's already been a few years. I know I wrote an adventure, that's for sure. But I also have written things on the DMs Guild, including for the Dungeon Craft Spotlight, which was featured earlier last year. So I was with a lot of other wonderful DMs Guild creators, and I wrote the one that's basically the creepy toy shop one. So I'm sorry ahead of time. If you want Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Creepy Toy Shop together, I'm sorry. And I am a freelance writer and editor and for a lot of different TTRPG projects. And currently, I am also the creative lead manager for Unbreakable Publishers, where we try to feature Asian voices and creators, especially in the TTRPG space. So we have several books also that feature D&D 5e.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, by the way, which adventure is yours. I may have to look it up. I pride
think
myself
I'm
in
17. I think I'm in the 17 trilogy, because I remember it was 18 at one point, and then it got renumbered to 17. I'm thinking.
You're gonna make me look, aren't you?
You don't have to.
We must know. But in the meantime, let's hear from Ian.
Hey everybody, my name is Ian Gould. I am a Dungeons & Dragons DM, player, writer, publisher, person. You can find me every week over at Fayforge Academy, which is usually family friendly. When Jess, you said that earlier, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna family friendly. Oh no. When we're doing the main plot, we're family friendly. When we're pretending to be pirates, like, send the kids to bed. I'm also, as Connor mentioned, I work on a number of projects. Yes, Kat, now is the time to play with the microphone. I work on a number of D&D projects. You can look me up on DM's Guild, Ian Gould. The one that I'm the most excited about right now is The Red City. It's an awesome offering, a whole campaign setting for a Domain of Dread and Ravenloft. It's spooky. It's got lots of fun Slavic roots. Check it out. And also, I do a lot of writing work with the Word Refinery. We are a group that's dedicated to finding folks either who are in the fringe of D&D because of race or gender or creed or what have you, and bring them to a place where they can write and have their stories published and heard. So check us out at the Word Refinery. And my connection to the Moonshae Isles is I played a couple mods. I think I might be the only person on this stream who hasn't written one, but I played them with Graham, so that counts for a lot.
Yeah,
that's right. Back in 2020.
2020, I think.
2020,
it was the last convention, Winter Fantasy, before everything shut down.
100 years ago, in the year 2020.
And I didn't give someone COVID accidentally, as far as I know. And that we all hope, right?
Oh my God.
That was right when things were breaking out, but no one really knew how bad it was going to get. Cool. Well, thank you all so much. It's such an honor to play with you. I'm really excited that you're all here. And of course, we're all united in our support of Jasper's Game Day for this stream. Every week, we'll be kind of increasing our goal as we continue to bring viewers in, draw attention to Jasper's Game Day, and of course, wonderful, generous gifts that are being given from the people watching the stream. You can give at the bit.ly link that is on our overlay. You can also just give at jaspersgameday.com, I believe it is, /donation, if you want to go directly to the donation page. And we've got some cool little ways you can influence the game if you donate at that bit.ly link, which is our Tiltify page that we set up for this session. So some of the cool rewards or incentives that exist there, you can grant inspiration to one of our player characters, always comes in handy. You can create a wild magic surge from the Feywild. a monster from the Shadowfell could tear through the fabric of reality and either attack or otherwise interact with the group. Or you could donate to create an NPC appearance, which is always fun for me. You'll see my eyes roll back in my head as I try to make that work. But no, all of these are obviously ways to kind of make everyone feel good for the donations they're giving. So please give generously if you can. Thanks a lot. If you're not able to give, also feel free to find our Ghostlight RPGs on Twitter and retweet our Go Live tweet. That's always a great way to support what we're doing and bring more eyes to Jasper's game day and to the stream. So, thank you all so much for the intro. Let us kind of settle in as we begin. Let's see, what have we not said? I think we've gone through all of our announcements. Let me just give some quick acknowledgements, of course, to Baldman Games, who publish this material with Eric Menge, our story architect, and the new Moonshae Adventures, which is story architected by Toni. Really looking forward to the new stuff too. You will hear some music tonight by both darling of all independent creatives, Kevin MacLeod, as well as some original Moonshae music composed by Ted Bushman. And we absolutely love Ted and all the work that he has done with us. You'll also see some maps from Afternoon Maps, from Neutral Party, Dice Grimorium, which are all amazing map Patreons that offer battle and interactive maps for D&D and other role-playing games. As well as some original maps from this very adventure done by Steph Stober. So looking forward to that. And then, of course, this adventure is Moon 2-2, called Army of the Unseen, and it is designed and written by Savannah Houston-McIntyre, who is obviously very, very present, influential Moonshae designer. So thank you so much for creating this adventure. We're gonna have lots of fun. Let me end this intro with a content warning. This adventure does include some grim mystery, death and dead bodies, loss, spirits, and sexual infidelity. So if any of those topics may cause concern, if you need to, take care of yourselves, please do. We're using safety tools, and we hope that you keep your own, your own good in mind as you watch. So I think that is our intro. Let us then settle in and kick off this session of Rising Shadows. All right, last session, our heroes witnessed the fall of Caer Caladir, the seat of power of High Queen Kefri and High King Dared of the Ffolk, humans who have inhabited the Moonshae Isles for many, many generations. As the boat sailed away from Caer Caladir and it was left in the hands of lycanthropes and living shadows, seemingly who sprung through the forest and attacked the citadel itself, you eventually settled back down in Caer More, and you've all been there for about 10 days. You were accompanied at first by High Queen Kefri, who asked your advice in where to head as she sought refuge, having lost her control of her lands and been out of connection with her husband, King Dared. You recommended that she go to Hammerstad in the far north in the Norheim Isles. So, as we begin our session, you are watching yet another ship recede into the distance as the thick mist that always kind of covers the coasts of the Moonshaes shrouds the ship, and it drifts off into the soupy unknown. As that happens, heavy rain begins to pour, and it pours for another 24 hours without any sign of stopping. And this is where we'll begin our adventure. So, for our characters who were here last session. Let's begin with Moon. Do you have any thoughts or things you'd want to share what Moon has been up to for the last 10 days?
Moon definitely sought out Orwin Reese, who's a contact of the Defenders of the Earthmother, to try to get back into their druid training and everything, and just to get more information on what's going on with Durnall Forest and what sort of the overall goal for the Defenders of Earthmother is from here, because it seems like whatever we just witnessed in Caer Callidare was a pretty big deal, and Moon wants to know like if there's something that they should be doing now.
Great. As you come to the walls of Caer Moray, you can see signs of battle. There are obviously some damage on the walls. You can see a few fallen soldiers who were defending the walls. And when you finally do get a meeting with Orwin Reese, who you're able to meet basically by virtue of your relationship with Antola Pilark, the great druid of Alaron, Orwin Reese seems very weary, and he is able to meet with you for about 5 odd minutes. And he spends the entire time complaining about the lack of resources that are coming to Caer Moray, and then just kind of quickly apologizes and says, I suppose we'll need to get you settled down. If you want to stay in my estate, you're perfectly welcome.
Maybe, but what's all of this? What's been happening here that you need all these supplies for?
Raids have just been increasing steadily over the last 30 days or so. Black Bloods, the lycanthrope tribes that live here on Moray, they've become much more aggressive. It happened slowly, but now hardly a 10-day goes by that we don't see an attack from them.
Does it seem connected to the attack on Caer Callidare?
I can't speak to that. Based on what you shared, there were some lycanthropes, so possibly, although we've hardly seen living shadows in the way you described.
What about, it seemed like there was also something going on with the Black Bloods, the Living Shadow, and the Great Gark. Does it seem like there's a connection there?
I heard, I guess, from the Feywild. There's not much more I can illuminate about that, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'll be around trying to figure out what is going on, but let me know if there's anything I can help with, I guess.
Well, if you really mean that offer in earnest, we could certainly use someone to check out some reports we've heard of lost supplies, travelers being interrupted on their way from Dinegal to the south. So if you wanted to patrol the road, I could certainly authorize you to do that.
All right, let me get in touch with my traveling companions and we'll see what we can do.
And I'm sorry for the grim state of things. I wish that I could show you more jovial hospitality, but of course anything that's mine is at your disposal if you're in the service of the peace.
I appreciate it. And obviously the grim state of things is not your fault. There's some sort of something is clearly going on with all these attacks and the fall of Caer Callidare. So I'll see if my companions can help me check out the road to Denegal, and I'll let you know what we find.
Thank you. We pride ourselves here in Moray on the jovial, carefree state of our kingdom, but alas, these are not times for that.
Yeah, it'd probably be pretty weird if you were jovial right now.
I must go. And then he just very abruptly turns and leaves.
That seems right.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk with let's hear from Hunitsa. Anything in particular you've been up to in Moray?
I mean, since we've been dropped off by Queen Kefri's ship, Hunitsa's been a little bit like, I feel like, Moon's trying to get a handle on like what to do next. Hunitsa's, I think, a little lost in like, she reads all these stories, all these mysteries, these adventure stories. And so, Caer Callidare has fallen to living shadow and werewolves. So like in her mind, she's like, awesome, let's, raise an army and go back and take it back. But now they're just kind of like they're basically refugees. And she's just sort of like, well, I guess we should just be helping out where and when we can. She has some minor spells that she uses to help out with folks. I'm imagining that we're not the only folks who are showing up here to Kaer Morhen from Kaer Callidyrr.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that Hunitsa has been using comprehend languages to help process folks, if there's language barriers, and get just be of as much assistance as she can. But as soon as Moon comes to her and is like, hey, I have something that kind of sounds like an adventure, we should patrol the roads, Hunitsa's there for it.
Very cool. Okay, sounds great. Yeah, your experiences obviously with refugees are disheartening, but you're able to feel that value of being very useful as you bring folks in, help them get settled. It seems like everybody is mostly being settled in the hills just south of the Troll Claw Range. So that's a mountain range kind of west of Kaer Morhen, mostly frontier area near the head of that the river that runs, the mouth of which kind of empties out to the Trackless Strait, I guess that is, at Kaer Morhen. And so people are kind of heading upriver, obviously recruiting lots of mercenaries and people to defend them as they sort of begin setting up refugee camps in those hills. Okay, what about Kolben?
So it's been a pretty tough 10 days lately. I've experienced a few times in my life not having a home, and I know it's got to be really tough on these little ones who are going through this for the first time. I can't remember a lot, but I can remember how that felt. I can understand why Michelle headed with the good Queen Kefri up to the north to get her reestablished. But these kids, they just need somebody to look after them while their parents are, setting up some new homes. So here I am, playing the flute, letting kids climb on me like a jungle gym, and trying to keep a smile on my face because they need to see that things are safe, even if I don't necessarily feel like they are.
Now, are you referring specifically to Yrsa and Gully, or more generally to other
Yrsa
children?
and Gully are a touch point from last week. Viewers last week would remember them, but they're not the only children on that boat. And they're not the only family to have gotten off here in Kaer Morhen to try to find some safety while the Queen continues to the north, because wherever she goes, she's going to take danger with her.
Great, yeah. And I think it is right that Michelle went with them, probably though took Yrsa and Gully back to Hammerstad, which is where their parents supposedly are. But yeah, lots of other children, and some of them would have been slowly developing more of a kind of familiarity, friendship with Kolben as you are visible around helping out, and they'll start to call you they'll call you Coley Green Eyes, and some of them make reference to your red hair frequently as they kind of hang on your shoulders, pull at your hair, and tell you stories about the shadows that they have witnessed. You don't get the sense that the children are nearly as afraid of all this as the parents are. For whatever reason, the children seem to be taking it in stride, and that's kind of your main takeaway as you help out. So, go ahead, Moon, if you want to. We'll kind of frame a scene. Maybe it's a rainy late afternoon as you've just finished your meeting with Orwin Reese and you're able to meet back up with Hunitsa and Kolben.
Moon is definitely going to try to frame it as a big adventure on the road between Kaer Morhen and Donegal, because they know that that's what would be most interesting to Hunitsa. But they feel like probably Kolben will be down just once they explain it's a quest from Oren Reese. At least hopefully based on our past relationship. But they definitely come through with like, listen, Hunitza, there's some strange happenings on the road between Donegal and Kermore. Some strange stuff is going on, and someone wants us to look into it.
Oh wow, well, I mean, what kind of strange stuff?
Stuff going, like supplies going missing, just like really weird stuff happening. A real mystery, if you will.
Oh, wait, south of here, supplies going missing. I mean, there's a lot of folks who are settling by the 12 Claws Hills. Those folks need supplies. They've got nothing.
Exactly. So would you two be interested in going with me just to check out the area and see if we can figure out what's happening?
Well, sure. I mean, there was a family of gnomes that came through the Brickle Rubs, and I was really rooting for them. Maybe when we're down there, we can check in, see if they're okay.
Colvin will pull Moon aside now that Hunitza seems to be
I'll start
all wrapped
packing.
up in this.
Over here, out of earshot.
Moon, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You were talking to the leader of this era, Care, right?
Yes.
Did they by any chance say anything about why they don't have sheriffs patrolling that road? Like, where are their resources keeping that road safe? If it's that important.
That's a good question. Oren Reese didn't say specifically, but it sounds like they're pretty. They're already spread pretty thin because of all the attacks by the lycanthropes. That's all the information I got, though. So if you want, you can try to go back and talk to Oren Reese, but it seems like it was already a struggle just to get that much information.
Must be a busy person then.
Could be, but you're right to be suspicious of that, especially after our last encounter with someone we were supposed to talk to that we thought we could trust.
Well, if anything, I trust us. So if we're doing right by the people here, taking care of that road, you know you got my blades.
Yeah, we'll see what we can find, and if nothing else, we'll bring it back to Oren Reese if we need backup.
Nice bow.
Okay, let's move over to Aymer. Aymer, you are quickly striding through a kind of wooded road, heading toward Donegal. Beside you are two friends, Seren Nilo, who is I'm going to pronounce this with the correct Welsh. If I don't do it every time, you'll understand, because it's pronounced Hewer. The Hewer elves, in Gaelic, in Welsh, the two L's make like an HL sound. Very fun for pronunciation. So Hewer elves are an ancient kindred that lived here in the Moonshaes, probably predating the folk, I believe, the human folk who have come here. And Seren is one of what's called the Serafal Faithful. She believes in the reunion of friendly relationship between the Eladrin, who have kind of settled in the island of Gwyneth from the Feywild, and been at war with the folk, specifically with House Kendrick in Caer-Caladir, which just fell. So sorry for the brief history lesson, but the Kendrick family have been at war now with the Serafal Eladrin from the Feywild, and the Eladrin now essentially conquered the ancestral lands of the Kendrick family. And yet Seren Nilo is kind of a determined optimist who believes, like many of her kindred, that one day the humans and the Eladrin will see eye to eye, and the Feywild and the material plane will not necessarily have tensions. So you're traveling along with Seren and one other person, which is Toni's character, Adrian. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we hear first from Aymer? Just tell us what an observer might see in Aimer?
So Aimer is wearing a very nice travel clothes. In this case, it's kind of a shifting, kind of yellowish green to a brownish color at the moment, and it has like a high collar. There's also like a cloak that goes with it. Seems to be very well matched, and you can tell that there is some level of thought that comes into the apparel that's being worn by them. And Aimer's hair at this moment is a little bit on kind of like fading blonde into brown, and the eyes still remain pretty much the same. They are a sapphire shade, and pretty much there's nothing. There's also like a satchel as well that's hanging close by, and Aimer seems pretty calm at this moment, and is sort of taking everything in as they continue trekking through the woodlands.
Great. As you're moving along, Saren suddenly holds up a hand and kneels down in the grass and picks up a little tuft of grass, and you can see there's blood that has been spread across the top of it, not like soaked in, but almost like someone drew a paintbrush across it or something. And she just kind of holds it up to you silently, and then holds it up toward Adrian. Toni, tell us a little bit about Adrian.
Well, Adrian is a rather tall female. She looks elven, except her skin is blue. Her hair is black with a green tint. She stands about 6 feet tall. She has a bunch of, her armor is made out of different, or her clothing is made out of different, tied with different bits of seashells and like kelp and things of that sort. She looks pretty interested over at the tuft of blood, because she's like, that's unusual, because normally there would be significantly more, I would suspect. You know, she kind of looks bored as she does things, so she's just kind of like, all right, well, you know.
Do you think Saren would know you well enough to be able to understand that, or maybe even see through?
Yes, absolutely. So
great. Well, she'll kind of smile gently and just very, very quietly whisper, looks like some kind of injury, but maybe they were dragged or brought away in a hurry. There are tracks leading this way. And she points to what you can see ahead, maybe about 100 yards, is a crossroads. There's a big stake at the center of the crossroads with a little sign pointing in 3 different directions. So 3 roads kind of converge here.
I follow her then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aimer says, lead the way.
She, you sense that she does not consider herself the leader, but she kind of reluctantly nods and, rolls her shoulders up and keeps going. And she approaches the crossroad sign, and as she does so, you see a rustle in the bushes ahead of you, and suddenly out of nowhere, a werewolf springs from the brush. You can see the werewolf's jowls are covered in blood, and they have like scraps of clothing kind of caught on their claws, and they immediately just rush up to her. You see her try to draw her bow, but before she can get it all the way out, she's already within melee range of this werewolf, who is now suddenly striking her. So what would you like to do?
I watch. No, I'm kidding.
You're real bored.
Ooh. I will say Aimer is not pleased, and you can see the hair turn into a fiery red, and the outfit now changes to like a golden red and has like gold and red and a little bit of still a hint of green in there.
Awesome. Very
Nice.
cool.
I also will run over. I'll draw my big axe, and it's like a pearly kind of a white color. So, and run up to her and I'll be like, "You got this, because I said so." I get mad.
Okay, let me bring us over to a little map of this area. So the werewolf is moving in. Why don't we roll initiative?
Sure. Just making sure that it gets there. Okay.
Let me also say, as we're doing this, you're aware that the reason Saren has asked you to accompany her to Dinagal is that her son is there, and she hasn't heard from him in about 20 days. So she's been spending time at Kaer Morhe, helping look after supply deliveries. And in the time that she's been gone, she has not received a single letter from her son, which she suggests is unusual. He seems to be very prolific. She says, if nothing else, the boy can write.
Well, I think Aimer just took I think when Aimer heard that story, I think Aimer was very humbled by the notion of that more than anything, especially given Aimer's present circumstances. So he's more than happy to entertain the notion.
Great. Well, the good news is that you've gotten the jump on the werewolf. Saren seems to be a little bit flat-footed in terms of how she's been caught off guard, but you can both act before the werewolf. What was your roll, Aimer? Looks like a 15.
I think the 15. It decided to hit a lot of times as soon as I hit it.
Okay, go ahead. You're first, Aimer.
So Aimer is now in this fire charge red, kind of like, and you can see now that there's some bits of leaf that turns into like wickers of flame. They start to resemble that on the outfit, and there's like a heat that builds up as around the cloak, and so it kind of billows a little bit, and there's now energy charging around his hand, and he unleashes a kind of serpentine looking bolt going straight towards the werewolf, and I'm casting Eldritch Blast.
Beautiful.
So let's see how that goes.
Okay, 19.
Yep.
That will hit.
Alrighty. And then
The werewolf kind of snarls and takes 3 steps back as that blast strikes it.
There we go.
Okay.
It looks like 4.
I see the damage rolled 3 times. I'll take the 8, which is the first one.
I love how one press just adds 3 times for me.
Yeah, it can be a little touchy that way.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Aimer? Do you want to shift your ground at all? Right now, you're kind of in the middle of the road, or like by the trees there.
Right. I think Aimer is going to. I think at this point, since we've sort of established like that Aimer is more likes to hold back, so Aimer is going to probably start getting ready to draw out his short bow and kind of take a couple steps back behind was it Adrian?
Yeah. Great. That's
that...
perfect. And as you do, Adrian, it is your turn.
All right. Well, she's gonna move right up here and be like, hey. So Saren actually now gets the benefit of she has advantage on any attacks made against the werewolf because of my Spirit of the Sea Wolf barbarian power.
Yes.
So, but I will move there and I will try to chop you. Choppity chop. Did that work? Oh, wah, wah.
Okay, yeah, it looks like your battle axe is deflected, and not just because of the, 10 to attack, but also you see as a wound should open up in this werewolf's maybe shoulder. Your battle axe just scrapes across it like it would damp leather or even wood, and you feel suddenly a little bit worried, maybe.
She's like, God, I hate the surface.
Okay, so as this is going on, Hunitsa and Moon and Kolben, you have been traveling along the road also in this direction. You hear a cry coming from the road ahead of you, and faintly in the distance you see what looks like a lycanthrope bearing down on a, like shorter Fey-looking person, and then of course the 6-foot-tall sea elf with a battle axe.
Made of seashells. It's pearl.
How would you like to proceed, the three of you?
Oh my goodness! Oh, trouble on the road! Was that a giant wolf?
Werewolf.
Yeah, I think this is probably what we were looking for.
The same ones that attacked Kirkala did. They're here? And with that, Hunitsa is going to take flight as she takes 2 bounding steps and then launches herself into the air towards this battlefield.
Great. I'll bring you onto the map here.
Yay.
You can make it kind of above these trees there. What's your passive perception?
Passive perception. It's not going to be impressive. It's 12. Not bad.
Anyone have that beat for passive perception?
I have a 13.
Okay.
I have
Kolben?
14.
We're going up.
14.
Okay.
14 is good.
Excellent. So as Hunitsa takes to the sky, first of all, let me say, welcome raiders. We're being raided by Bar Princessa Biar. I feel like I should interpret that name better, but thank you. Welcome. We are playing Rising Shadows.
I believe it's pronounced Burr, Princess Burr.
Burr. That would be clever and perceptive. So Hunitsa takes to the sky. Kolben and Moon, you both noticed some rustling in the trees just underneath where Hunitsa is currently flying. And you can see 2 figures kind of moving through the high brush. Feel free to let us know how you want to approach the 2 of you.
Can we tell what kind of figures they are? Do they look aggressive?
If you want to charge in, then you wouldn't have time to make a perception check. But if you want to instead make the perception check, it may set you back a little bit from the action, but you'd at least have a better idea of the layout.
I think especially with everything that's happened lately, Moon will go for trying to see if they can figure out what's going on before rushing in.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, make a perception check. And while you're doing that, Kolben, what do you think your tack is?
As is my way, I wait for Wise Moon to sort of figure out the best way to go here before I set my direction. Because once I set my direction, I go that direction.
True. Good news, because Moon perceives everything.
Yes, with a 22, you see there are 2 were-rats slinking through the trees, and they are obviously running to join the fray.
Moon points them out. More were creatures. Who needs to underneath you? Watch out.
Okay.
As Hunitsa looks down, about how far away are they?
They're 5 feet from you, but they don't seem to be watching you. Oh, I should say they're 5 feet on the 2-dimensional map. How far in the air are you, though?
I'll say, I got a 50-foot fly speed. I'm coming in from a comfortable wizard 30 feet.
Perfect. Yeah. So then they're essentially right below you from
Gotcha.
your perspective. So Kolben, you see Moon point out the were-rats. What would you like to do?
Kolben's going to look at Moon for their reassuring nod that this is the right way. Okay.
Yeah, Moon gives it, even though they're not certain and is still confused why Kolben keeps trusting Moon to make decisions. Moon will give that nod.
So Coben will look back at the darkness and his eyes will glow even brighter. They shed that green radiance. And he will run way faster than a person should be able to, with a wide grin, that toothy grin that just goes too far to be comfortable, hits that uncanny valley. He plunges himself right into the darkness of the underbrush beneath the trees. So do I see these creatures?
Yeah, I think at this point, now that you have been, directed where to look, no need to make a perception check. You can see them. Okay. And you see that their faces look like the flesh has been kind of scratched back. They eerily have bone protruding from their snouts, as though they've been marked in some way.
All right, so describe the underbrush to me. What is the lighting like?
Dim light under the trees for sure. It's kind of early evening. The sun's low in the sky, creating long shadows, about 4 foot tall underbrush with low hanging tree branches. So plenty of cover. All right. So Colbin's going to take advantage of that brush. When he begins to fight, he often crouches anyway. So I've got one dagger which I can take in that run, because I'm not just walking around with my daggers drawn, I'm going to whistle at one of them, casting my hunter's mark upon them. Cool. And when I do so, you see this creature kind of look up at you with these long protruding teeth. The bone of that snout and the teeth kind of merge together visually, and it just has blood dripping down. And you see also that the were-rat has rags that are made out of a black cloth wrapped around the hands and arms. Black bloods. So I'm going to then leap at that first one with remarkable alacrity. Let's slash at it with the dagger and do hopefully something more than what I did last week. All right. So do you think Colbin has encountered? Well, I guess last week you encountered some lycanthropes. You would probably be aware that a simple dagger is unlikely to harm them. Indeed, but a simple dagger is likely to get their attention. And so sometimes forming the distraction is enough. So here's attack number 1. Okay. All right. So I hit with a 25, hopefully. Yes. All right. So, and now it's just going to be a ton of damage, because you're going to see that there is 7 points of damage from the dagger. Plus, in addition, they're going to take an extra D6 from my hunter's mark. And in addition, that first one, I'm going to mark as my favorite foe. So that will do an extra D4. For a grand total of, wow, that's a lot of numbers. 13 points of damage with that first one. Okay, and that's all piercing damage? That is all piercing damage. Your blade is not silvered or magical, correct? We were on a boat. What do you want? Just deal in the facts.
Graham is asking for a friend that you hit for 13 points of non-magical piercing. That's
as you drive this dagger in for what should be a killer blow against any foe of that size, you just feel the dagger completely wrench in your wrist, and it's like you've struck armor.
Excellent.
But the were-rat is thoroughly interested now in who you are and why the hell you're attacking.
Good, because the second dagger I can take as a gloom stalker is going to go at. Excellent. A natural 1, however, is going to miss. Ooh. But that's perfectly fine. It's the same result anyway, right?
And the were-rat kind of bends its back, allowing the dagger to pass right in front of its body, and then snarls and gets ready to pounce on you.
Perfect. And I'm going to call that good.
Okay. So it is now the were-rat's turn.
Graham, should we roll ourselves into initiative?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. That's true. If someone gets a 10, you might get a chance to. Okay, so then Moon is at a 5 for initiative. Okay, perfect. So the were-rat spins toward Kolbin and lashes out with a short sword. It is in hybrid form. That is a 20 to hit, as this kind of, it's really like a hackney sword. I mean, it probably wouldn't be very useful in the hands of a typical militia person. But to you, if a 20 hits, that does 8 piercing damage. A terrible stab, maybe right to the abdomen or kind of to the side. Slashes across your abdomen. The second one is going to continue the trajectory toward your friends and make it up to Saren, who is still struggling with her bow. I mean, struggling is a strong word, but she's got her bow out and realizing she wishes she had drawn her sword. And the were-rat is going to strike her for that's a critical hit, unfortunately. It does 8 piercing damage, so the same as the non-critical hit. Saren looks pretty hurt by that. You see her, maybe she just gets a huge slash across her thigh, and she drops her bow and prepares to draw her sword. And then we'll go... now this is where Kolbin would fall in the initiative, but we're going to go to the werewolf and then take it from the top. The werewolf was bearing back at Adrian. So with claws, that is a 10 I think might miss Adrian.
It does miss me.
Okay, so you see claws swipe, you easily kind of evade, and then one more attack. This time the teeth lunge toward you as the werewolf, by the way, is wearing like a torn flower dress. And that's only a 13.
That also misses.
Very nice. Okay, so you're ably fending off the werewolf. Saren drops the bow, draws her short sword, and kind of stands shoulder to shoulder with you, but then looks back at the rat and says, "I hate to leave you with a bigger foe," and then turns and attacks the rat. Okay, that's a 23 to hit. Okay, and she again sees that her sword does not much useful. Okay, back to the top of the order. Hunitsa.
So seeing Kolbin going toe-to-toe with this creature and how his weapons are just, I mean, that was a killer blow. And Hunitsa looks back, sees that the creature is unaffected by it, and there's that moment where her brain is racked. And with an Arcana +5, should I roll for Hunitsa's knowledge of lycanthropes, or?
No, I think it's reasonable that a 3rd level adventurer would know how to handle these creatures, or at least have heard stories about it.
And seeing that Kolbin would probably know that as well, knows that Kolbin is, oh crap, he's going to sacrifice himself again. And seeing that, you know what, we're just going to do this. We're going to keep this nice and straightforward. Hunitsa, from 30 feet up, is going to keep flying forward, but as she looks back, she's going to fire off. She pulls out her spell book and then just aims it like she's about to throw it, and then mutters a spell, and from her feathers, the ritual begins to, not ritual, I shouldn't use that word, it's a very specific word in Dungeons and Dragons. I know, right? As she mutters a spell. The book begins to like float and like clone itself into 2, 3, 4 different spectral books that just hurl themselves with incredible force, magic missile-like force onto the head of that lycanthrope attacking Kolbin. So we're gonna go ahead and upcast a boy here, magic missile, which is 4. The first one does 4 points of damage.
Excellent.
I know how to. There I go. Again. Excellent. So altogether, that looks to be 17 points of force damage onto the head of that lycanthrope. How's it looking?
You see that damage is like absolutely battering the were-rat, and they start to then cower, and you see their eyes darting around looking for an avenue of escape.
Yeah, there's more of that where that came from. You better run. And Hunitsa is going to menacingly circle around, but is also going to try to keep an eye over on these two over here. This is flying over Aimer's head, and I literally have my notes here. Welsh, you did the traditional Welsh spelling. Tony, that's beautiful. Hooer? Did I get that? You're muted.
Muted again.
Did I get that right? Hooer?
Actually, I'm unsure.
Oh no!
I did not. That was Eric or Savannah. That one wasn't me. Honestly.
I'm looking forward to when your character introduces her name of Hooer to the owl character. That'll be fun. But in the meantime, Hunitsa sees this sea elf and this these two elves that are just 3 elves, Aimer as well, that are just in battle with these creatures, and she's going to try to size up the scenario. How does it look like any of the between Aimer, Hooer, and the third elf whose name I've totally written down, Saren, thank you. Does it look like any of them have any kind of magical capabilities, enchanted weapons or otherwise, just from a first glance from 30
Saren does have some, being a fairly ancient elf, but I can't speak for the other characters.
Oh, this looks bad. And that's gonna be Hunitsa's turn. Okay,
go ahead, Aimer. You've just seen these new allies rush in. There's a were-rat just 10 feet from you.
Ooh. Well, I will say Aimer probably notices that were-rat to the corner, but also sees also sees somebody engaging it. So Aimer's going to take the opportunity to go further away from the were-rat, and probably get some height distance. So probably going to go up to this upper area here. Climb up to like this little
it's a little like fieldstone wall with the higher ground there.
Right. So Aimer is going to climb up, and then they are going to because really Aimer wants to protect his friends first, and so and right now Aimer's seething with rage, so Aimer is going to cast Hex on the werewolf.
Awesome.
So we got a nice little Hex here, and I will cast that, and let me see, and then we're going to cast Eldritch Blast again. So this time it comes out less like it comes out again as a bolt, like a serpentine kind of bolt, just emerges out of Aimer's hands, and you can see there's like a soft glow coming from the amulet that they're wearing. And let's see, where is the Eldritch Blast? Did it go through? Nope. Okay, hold on. It does get a little finicky. You're right.
All right. Yes, a 17 hits.
Okay, 17 hits. Cool. And damage.
So you've got that extra 4 necrotic from the Hex.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Well, one of those was definitely it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so we'll go with the, let's see. Yeah, the first one was a 6 force damage, So 10 total.
Ignore that.
And Amir is gonna start like when they cast it, Amir just is seething with rage. You get off my friends, you abominations!
Yeah, again, this werewolf has this like black linen wrapped around the arms. Seems to be fully focusing their attention on Adrian at this point.
Okay.
And if you're all done, Amir, then...
yeah, Amir's done. Amir will just shout out to Adrian, get rid of these black abominations!
Okay, take it away, Adrian.
She's like, got a better weapon? She will attempt to hit it with the axe. And then she says, if you wreck my axe, I'm going to be really upset. So, let's see here.
Now, do you want to focus this on maybe a shove or something? I want to give you the opportunity to feel, like you're not just wasting rolls.
I'm kind of stupid. I mean, I'm being fair. No. I would like to, but maybe one more time we'll try this. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed here. So, and I miss anyways. So,
is that a 12 to hit? 12 would actually hit. So you feel the axe kind of bite in, and then the wound is just closing up so quickly, you're not making any ground in terms of damage.
So then she's like, what the? And she's just like
Saren says,
looking around like for a tree branch, or she's like, what the heck?
Swords are no more use here. Maybe we push them back toward the spellcasters?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great idea. I'm glad I thought of it. Let's go.
Okay, the were-rat next to Kolbin disengages. Springs away into the woods. You can still kind of have an eye on them as they're running away, but clearly seem to be looking not to engage any further with you. The were-rat next to Saren is going to bite her. That's a 23 to hit. Oh. She takes 4 piercing damage. Oh. And she's going to make a little low stakes saving throw, no big deal.
Low stakes, yeah.
Okay, you see the werewolf, or the were-rat rather, bite into her arm, and she very, very quickly kind of wrenches the arm away and says, "Back, foul thing," and gets ready with her sword. You don't get the sense that she has succumbed to anything from that bite. It was too surface level. And we'll pass it back to Kolbin.
So, Kolbin sees the one that he was engaged with turned by Hunitsa's masterful spellcasting. But the work isn't done yet. So he will turn back to the were-rats. The one that he couldn't keep their attention, he is going to run through the woods. And you can almost see the trees part for him as he runs. They slow him not a stride. As he makes his way up behind the were-rat, who bit into this Y Scout's arm, and he takes up his cloak. He pounces on the creature's back, wraps the cloak around its neck, in an attempt to grapple and begin suffocating it.
Perfect.
And let's see if I can grapple it.
Give him that grapple.
I'm gonna throw that grapple into it.
Give him that grappalacha.
Come on, good roll.
Grappalacha. Thank you for that.
It was not a good roll.
Oh no.
Okay, strangely though, the were-rat rolled a 4, so...
Whoa! They're normally a lot quicker than that. Must have been distracted.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so you have grappled the were-rat, and you're slowly drawing that cloak tighter and tighter across its neck.
And I'm going to scream, "You don't need silver!" as I'm beginning to suffocate it.
Okay, anything else from Kolvin?
No, I did a lot.
Okay, Moon, take it away.
Moon sees Colvin run up and like start strangling this were-rat with his cloak and is like, that seems right. That seems correct that this would be happening right now. Moon has a pretty clear shot, so they're gonna try to cast Guiding Bolt against the werewolf.
Cool.
Let's see. So that's
so what does that
22 to
look
hit
like?
With Moon, it almost looks like a constellation that they've summoned that sort of like turns into almost like a constellation-y arrow and shoots straight at the werewolf.
Cool. Yeah, and it strikes the werewolf right in the chest, dealing 13 radiant damage. Beautiful.
Wow, 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 wow.
You immediately see the werewolf's posture change.
Change in what way? Like it's getting ready to run?
Yeah, like certainly no longer aggressively raging at Adrian.
Sucks its belly in, straightens its back, just kind of,
Any movement for you, Moon? Are you feeling good about where you are?
Yeah, Moon's gonna stay back as far as possible and just keep doing the distance thing. And is definitely ready to try to cast around Colvin because they're pretty used to
that. Great. Okay, well, then the werewolf on its turn likewise disengages and heads down the road you recognize toward Dinagal. 10, 20, 30 feet that way, kind of skirting around Saren's blade. Meanwhile, Saren is going to shove the were-rat that Colvin is strangling prone, or attempt to. Ooh, let's see how that does. Okay, she's unable to, at least on this attempt. But, you have the sense of teamwork here, kind of taking this were-rat to task. We'll move to Hunitsa again.
Seeing Colbin's play here with his cloak wrapped around the were-rat's head, Hunitsa's very aware that the were-rat, wolf, bear, tiger, panther, whatever's main weapon is going to be its ferocious bite. So she's going to cast Mage Hand, which is going to be like a nice, like big sausage fingered hand. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just going to get down there and just try to it can ethereally pass through the bag and wrap its hand around the were-rat's snout to stop it from biting.
Ooh, nice. Very nice. Okay, well, yeah, we'll call that a grapple, and if successful, you'll be able to prevent the bite.
Since I'm using magic, can I make an intelligence grapple check?
Sure, yeah.
Yay!
Can't think of a reason why not. I tried.
Oh, for fudge's
sake.
Well, natty one.
Let's see.
That's
it's
a
still
6.
for a total of 6. Okay, a 9 from the were-rat.
Oh, he even rolled like a chump too. Oh well.
Yeah. Okay. Any?
I can't get a grab on him. He's too feisty.
You're just kind of staying there, 30 feet up, treading air.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, at this point, Hunitsa is going to kind of like sword, swoop down, hit the ground. Is going to really be channeling her magic, but it's just not enough.
Okay, Aimer.
Aimer sees that the werewolf is running, and unfortunately is too fixated to really think about anything else. So Aimer is going to start grabbing hold of the talisman necklace that they have on them, and there's now like a bluish fiery glow coming from it, and we're gonna use a large tentacle emerges near the werewolf as a bonus action. So I'm going to use the Tentacles of the Deep feature. So it's going to try and smack the werewolf here. And let's see if it slows it down a little bit.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
There
Yes.
we
Okay.
Okay, 22.
Okay. And I believe it's a D8, so... Oops, I hit it once. Too many times. Well, it hit it for, what, 2 cold damage, it looks like?
Now, did you say the werewolf or the were-rat?
Werewolf.
Great. Okay.
So it hits, so it has it reduces its speed by 10 feet.
Excellent.
Still have the hex to go trigger on as well. Because still angry. Still very angry. This is a very angry warlock. Let's see, did it pick it up? No, it did not. Okay, hold on.
Great. 6 more necrotic.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it got through that first time I clicked it.
Mhm.
And then Aimer is gonna again just channel another bolt and fire it again, and it's a fiery serpentine bolt that goes straight for the werewolf, because Eldritch Blast is 120 feet, because that's fair.
Okay. Ooh.
Ooh, did not get there.
Yikes.
Lots of
We
rage.
just get the ones out of the way now. We're getting the ones out of the way now.
Yeah, there it is.
That's the story we tell ourselves.
Okay, we'll move then to Adrian, if you're all done.
Yep, I am done.
She is just huffing and just like, what the? She's just kind of like a little she looks like she's in a tizzy a little bit. I'm not used to this and I don't like it. So she will follow Saren's lead and try to shove him a little bit and push him towards everybody else, because she can't really. I don't know. It's witchcraft. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you can hear the were-rat underneath this kind of muffled strangulation saying, "You shall never overcome us."
Oh, he's feisty.
So, all right. She's gonna get mad at that, but that's fine. I assume a strength check here.
Yeah, that sounds good. You do athletics.
Yes, let's see. I do have athletics.
Hey, look at that.
Woo!
A 24.
She's really mad.
Okay, you easily succeed. So how is this going to play out then?
So she's trying to, well, I guess because where I'm at, she's more pulling them up towards the other spellcasters, making sure that bag stays on his face from Colvin.
Perfect.
If I had a bag, that'd be great. I don't have a bag. Who needs a bag?
Adventurer's greatest companion, the bag.
All right, so the were-rat just continues struggling. The Black Bloods will be supreme. And in response, it's just going to make a run-of-the-mill acrobatics check to escape this grapple, if possible.
Do it with disadvantage because it's prone, though.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Okay, and then do you want to
I will oppose
contest
it.
that? Thank you. $17 is what you needed to roll. So the were-rat remains grappled and prone, and it's Colvin's turn. Look at that.
So, as it falls down, Colvin will nimbly just leap in the air, swing his legs around. So when the creature goes down on its back, Colvin will land both knees on its shoulders, hitting it to the ground. And you'll see Colvin will like growl something at it as he continues wrapping the cloak around its neck to hasten the suffocation. and you see the ghostly image of a Fomorian form around his body as he casts guidance to keep this thing on the ground until it stops moving.
Gosh.
Cool. Fomorian. And for those who may not be familiar, what does the Fomorian look like in the fiction here?
The Fomorian is a massive ancestral enemy of the Fae, a giant with a hideous appearance, who delights in tormenting its prey.
Very cool.
They got that one big old eye.
Okay, back to Moon. You've got two enemies fleeing. It looks like the werewolf and the one were-rat that is still in the heat of that melee are being pretty well disrupted. The third is probably going to get away at this point.
Yeah, it seems like the group kind of has a handle on this at this point, and I think Moon will... we'll probably end up chasing down that werewolf because that's in the direction we're going anyway. But for now, Moon will maybe just get closer and try to make sure that this were-rat stays down, but not kill it so that we can question it. So maybe pull out some rope and try to add to the whole like tied up dealy of it, so that even once they take the cape off its face, it'll still be contained.
I'll say, if you can successfully get 2 grapples on this creature, it'll have no chance of escaping.
Okay.
So go ahead and make, I guess that's an athletics check.
Ugh.
Oh no. Okay, well, the were-rat can't fail.
We're just getting these ones out of the way early. We got
With a 2 from Moon, the were-rat is unable to be pinned down at the moment by anyone other than Colbin.
Wow, he's feisty.
Yeah. Okay, the werewolf will move 20 feet and then dash another 20. Obviously limping as a result of these attacks, but still well within range for Aimer. Saren is going to also attempt to grapple the were-rat. Huh. 2s all around. Okay, who needs that? What you got?
Oh, jeez. Honestly, thought we'd be done by now. A lot of 2s. The one that's getting away, who needs is just going to write that one off, especially because he's really big. Whoa. But the small one is nearly, I'm just going to, it was just a 1. It was a good plan. I just rolled the 1. I'm going to do it again. Hunitsa is really going to just like dig her claws into the ground and really like clutch her book in one hand and then just focus all of her magic into just down, boy. I'm going to try to make that intelligence based athletics check one more time. A 16. There we go. That was the same, but whatever. The mod's still the same.
Okay, opposed by a 12. So you've successfully stopped this were-rat from resisting, and you just feel them kind of go limp and whine Gollum-like.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Aimer, you've got another probably couple shots at this werewolf before it gains any significant ground.
Right. So I think, I think Aimer's just going to do that. Is pretty much just whittle this werewolf down, if whatever it takes. Just because Aimer sees that everyone has a handle on the one were-rat.
It took 4 of us to take down one were-rat. You're soloing a werewolf. All right.
Yeah, Aimer's just like, everyone else has this taken care of. I think I'm free to take care of this one. Let me see.
This morning.
Yeah. I mean, this is true. So one thing it's definitely going to do is spend it moved a total of 40 feet. Okay, so it's definitely going to move the tentacle. So this flaming tentacle is just slipping through the ground, and it does have a 10-foot reach, so it's going to try and strike the werewolf again.
Great.
And looks
17 will hit.
Yep. Okay. Okay, and it dealt 8 cold damage.
Okay, go ahead and roll your hex damage. You are definitely within striking distance of a knockout. Okay, with 5 more, the werewolf suddenly just sprawls onto the dust. It's up to you whether you want that to kill the werewolf or...
I think Aimer sees the tactical advantage of there's already 1. We have 1. We don't need 2.
Great.
See, tactical advantage of murder.
As the werewolf sprawls out in the dust, you see the form of their flower dress becomes a little more reasonable or like logical as their form becomes less hairy, dwindles down, and you see what looks like a kind of brightly dressed for late summer human woman lying in the dust.
Basharant's also was like a little girl or something.
I totally thought he was going to say that.
No.
Thought so too.
Like middle-aged woman.
Oh, that's fine then. Yeah, dust.
Yeah,
okay.
not that.
Wow.
Okay, if that's all for
Okay.
Aimer, we'll go back to Adrian.
Aimer is done.
Oh, you know what? We've got 2 grapples on this were-rat. So we have, I think, officially kind of finished this encounter. Your enemies don't have any fight left in them. The were-rat will eventually either pass out or asphyxiate, depending on your intent.
And you hear Colton saying, if it's still talking, it's still breathing. And I'm just going to continue wrapping it up until the creature succumbs. Because Aimer's really nice, but Aimer doesn't know Colton.
Yeah, but until it passes out and we're not, and then like let it go.
Yeah, I'm going to be punching it just out of spite. She's just mad and she can't do anything, so she's frustrated.
Yeah, I think Aimer will walk over and first check with Adrian and Saren. And Aimer quickly shifts from that summery, fiery red to a whitish hair, bluish tone, and pale skin. The outfit changes to like a very pale blue. I think we need to keep one of those alive, unfortunately. Can you not kill them?
This one is getting better every time I hit it, so it's just kind of fun.
Your punches heal people? Wow.
Not normally. So I don't know what's going on. Some sort of terrible magic, I guess.
They're cursed. They're cursed with the ancient affliction of the Black Blood tribe. These are no regular lycanthropes, not victims. They've embraced their cruel side, says Saren.
How can you tell that?
They wear these black cloths wrapped around their arms as a sign to others of their kind.
Oh.
The same kind attacked Kermore in the dozens not 20 days ago.
Oh, that's awful.
GM, do we recognize those, now that we hear Saren calling out these black cloaks, these black cloth wrapped around their fists, do we remember from the attack on Caer Caladan that the lycanthropes there, do they also have these black bindings?
Certainly not all of them. Yeah, you probably recall to mind at least one that you saw, but it wasn't like an army of Black Bloods.
Okay.
Do we remember if the really bad one, the Skulk, had that? The Were-Raven?
You did not see anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that thing was just like a moving, living shadow. That was like...
Yeah.
That was some other bad business.
Saren is now examining her arm, and she says, well, this won't be a good spot to lay up for long. Maybe we should move on. Are the rest of you headed to Dinnegal as well, or do you head in other directions?
Sorry, we're a little busy right now. This thing is still moving. Colbin, it's still moving.
Colbin is actively trying to suffocate the thing to death. Like smother it right in front.
To death?
No, Colvin, we need it alive so we can question it, because we need information.
Yeah, okay.
I like this Colvin guy.
Yeah. And after a couple moments of like just gritting his teeth, he gets up, screams, kicks the thing, and storms off into the distance.
Who needs
because if he stays near it, he's not going to stop.
Hunitsu's gonna rush over to the creature to check to see if it still has a pulse.
Yes, it does.
Good job, Colbin. You didn't kill it.
Saren says, I admire his spirit.
Well, it's just naturally survival of the fittest, and this guy obviously didn't deserve it. But you obviously wish to speak to him. So, how's your arm, Saren?
Yes. How is it?
A bite, but not too deep.
Is there a way to tell if someone's bite is going to turn them into a were?
No, I don't think there's any obvious outward sign.
Okay.
Although the good news is you're nowhere near a full moon. So Saren says, I'm sure I can get in contact with someone in Kaer Morhe to cast a precautionary remove curse, just in case.
Then perhaps we should retire there instead.
I cannot return there until I check on my son. And you would have obviously heard her talk about this before. Her son, Andrus, lives in Dinnegal.
This is true, but you're also hurt.
We're headed to Dinnegal as well.
Are you?
Yes, we're trying to figure out what was happening to the supplies on the road between Dinnegal and Kaer Morhe, and it seems like this whole encounter may have something to do with the missing resources and people.
Isn't Dinnegal that way? And Hunitsu will point in the direction that the lycanthropes were fleeing.
It is. You can see clearly on the signpost. There's a big arrow that says Dinnegal.
It's right behind Hunitsu. She doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Huh. That's the direction the lycanthropes were fleeing to. You don't think that they're... Oh my goodness. Dinnegal. That's where the Brickle Rubs were going to settle. You know, the Brickle Rubs, the extremely important gnome family.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Saren says, I know them.
Oh, they're good friends of mine.
Are they? They're good people.
Oh my goodness, yes. How many children do they have?
I think it's 7. Is it 7 or
yeah,
8
7
now?
Yeah.
I thought they had a new one.
8. Yeah, they just had 8 on the way. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, she's like packing up her weapons, slinging her pack over her back.
Well, any friend of the Brickle Rubs is definitely a friend of mine. My name's Hunitsu.
I'm Saren Nilo.
This is Moon, and the one over there. Yeah. He's still screaming. That's Colbin. Wow, he's got a pair on him. Jeez, he's just going.
I'll be honest, you newcomers terrify me, but there's no one I'd rather have by my side, to be frank. Would you be willing to come with me?
Oh yeah, sorry, the owl thing. It's a fey curse. Totally fine. It's not contagious.
Oh, no, I'm referring to the bloodlust, but thanks.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we are headed toward Dinnegal anyway, so we can accompany you while we do our investigation. Once Colbin calms down a little bit. In the meantime, maybe we could wake up this were-rat and see what information he has for us, and then we can try to head toward Dinnegal. Unless we need to like bring this were-rat with us to Dinnegal.
I'm gonna say the whole time we're having this conversation, Hunitsu is like going to be using Mage Hand to like tie the were-rat up, including its snout, or gag it if it's returned back. I guess it's unconscious now, so it's returned back to its human form.
I guess that's true. Yeah, at being unconscious.
Yeah. So does it? Since it's back in its human form now, clearly
clearly the were-rat resembles like a dock worker or something. Has the air of someone from Kermore.
Oh wow, look at this guy's boots. He definitely was a dock worker. She's gonna use Mage Hand to tie him up, including like a reinforced, like I'm thinking like a rope and cloth gag. That's just like, because man, those bites. Oh.
Great. Well, I'll spare us a little bit of time and say that you have a frustrating interaction maybe with the were-rat. What
Standard.
you learn is that the were-rat considers Dinagal a wasteland and says there's no one left in that place. If you go there, you only go to your own deaths too. And then kind of snickers at you. You get the sense that maybe the Black Bloods were heading somewhere past Dinagal.
Oh. And from what our characters know, Dinagal's a town?
Yeah, kind of like a bustling small town. It's at a crossroads, but not
okay.
any serious settlement there.
Okay, so it's a small crossroads, and this guy's talking about it in the past tense. Heard. Okay.
Well, as you make your way further south, you come within sight.
We let Colbin kill this thing.
Oh, for sure. And also, before we continue on our journey, Moon does cast Pass Without Trace, so that we're at least not like completely out in the open.
Yeah, and who needs to follow it up with a solid mage armor.
As Colbin finishes his work and dips his hat in the blood of this creature,
forgot about that. Oh no!
He'll turn back and he'll say, "Don't worry. They're not carrying all that cargo without us being able to follow it to exactly where it went." And he'll point down at the ground and show the tracks. If they went that way, seeing that there's wood cover here, Colbin's a pretty skilled tracker. So
great. So you cast your precautionary spells and you begin following the tracks. There no roll even required. They're very clear, and they head directly toward Dinagal. And as you come in sight within the town, it looks like a carcass just laid out before you. You can see collapsed roofs. You can see frames of houses that have been burned out. But you also see at this point that the tracks lead away and around, avoiding the town entirely through kind of a wooded area off the road. But ahead of you, you can see a farmhouse, and suddenly an oil lamp light comes through a kind of fogged up glass window on the second floor of the farmhouse, and then again goes out. And with that, we will go to a short break and come back in about 5-10 minutes. So thanks, everyone. We encourage you again to give to Jasper's Game Day. As you're watching, thank you so much for participating, and we'll see you in a few. Hello and welcome back. We are continuing the second half of our session here, playing Moon 2-2, Army of the Unseen by Savannah Houston-McIntyre. This is part of the Moonshae Isles series called Rising Shadows by Baldman Games. And we are playing through with designers and friends of this series as we support Jasper's game day. So we encourage you as you watch to give generously if you can, and thank you so much. So when we left off before our break, you had faced some of these strange lycanthropes which bore the marks of the Black Blood tribe. They seem to be known agents of evil here in Moray. Saren Nilo, who is heading back to Donegal with you to check on the state of her son who lives there, leads you up to a farmstead, which is just outside the wooden wall of the town. And as you step through this kind of veil of fog and heavy rain that's falling all around, you start to see the features of the farmstead become a little more apparent. There's a paddock kind of to the far side with racks of what look like weapons, maybe, neglected and just open to the rain as it pours upon them. You can see pools of mud that are kind of preventing any footprints really from being left behind. I shouldn't say mud. They're like full puddles that are masking any tracks at this point that Colbin might notice. You also see a bit of pasture, a stable, and then the farmhouse itself, where just before our break you saw an oil lamp turn on in the window for a moment and then turn off, leaving the house dark.
Does it look like any of those weapons we can see have silver on them?
Nice.
Yeah, as you approach, they look like training weapons. Some of them are just flat out made of wood, but no, you don't see any silvered weapons amongst them, unfortunately. However, you do see that lying in the mud at the base of the weapon rack, there is a simple but fairly fine brass key. It stands out to you because it actually, like brass, you wouldn't expect like a commoner necessarily to have a brass key to their house. And so you see that sitting in the mud. There's like a leather strap coming off the end of it. There's no marking on it though.
Hunitsa is going to walk over and pick the key up, and her eyes, which are already very large, are going to get even wider. Oh wow, this is just like the mystery of the brass key. A mystery novel I read last year.
What does the brass key go to?
Well, in the book, it goes to a basement of a farmhouse. And then Hunitsa is going to look very dramatically at the farmhouse in the distance as the light goes on and it goes off.
Should we investigate this farmhouse, or Hunitsa and Sarah and you both have contacts you're expecting to find in Donegal? Have you heard from them somewhere where they may have gone if Donegal was in danger?
Saren just shakes her head blankly and says, "My son Andrus stayed at the inn."
Where would the Burkle Rubs have stayed, Graham?
Let's go out on a limb and say this is their farm. And as you think about that, you hear a door close within the farmhouse.
I mean, if it was like destruction on the way here, shouldn't we at least check to see if the farmhouse, the people who are living here are all right?
Also, that's a good idea.
And then
Unless,
we can
of
move on
course,
to the rest of the town.
Unless, of course, they're ghosts.
Ghosts? What? Rat people and ghosts? I feel like maybe.
In the flash of lightning, you briefly see Colbin before the lightning goes away and you don't really catch him anymore. He just says, "Ghosts, allies, werewolves, we're wet. Can we get out of the rain before we catch our death?"
You got something against being wet?
Mark it.
So yeah, in that flash of lightning, obviously you can see this kind of bluish light that lights up the whole exterior of the house. And you actually now see what look like straw people standing out in the pasture, like scarecrows maybe, but they have wooden weapons like spears tied to what would be their hands.
Crows around here must be really intense. Kunitsa says as she walks blithely up to the farmhouse.
Okay. The door swings open in the wind, and you see inside shards of silvered glass coating the front hall, as if the entryway mirror must have been thrown against the opposite wall, a distance of like 20 feet. You can see the frame kind of broken and fallen on the far side of the entryway.
Kunitsa, as she walks through the house, notices that everything is slightly smaller, as if made for gnomes, and then catches a portrait on the far side that is a family portrait of the Brooklyn and all 8 of their children. Oh my god! Brooklyn.
The interior of the farmhouse, again, it's in disarray, but it looks like, roughly speaking, there's like an office right there nearby. You can see the doorway open to a desk. You also see that upstairs there are some bedrooms. No sign of any movement as you're looking in.
If I peek back out the window real quick, now that we know this is the Brooklyn's house, are there the same amount of scarecrows as there should be family members?
No, they're lined up in a line of, you sit there and count them, there are 12 of them. It looks like someone was maybe training like a militia.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Mm-hmm.
No reason. Is there any trace of like where someone may have gone from this house, or like what may have happened that it was abandoned so quickly, or if it was abandoned quickly, or if maybe there's like a basement that we haven't seen that someone is hiding in or anything like that?
You like poking around and looking, you do see a bulkhead door that would lead to like a dirt cellar. But there are no tracks that you can see. Everything is just pooled up water around the foundation of the house.
Kunitsa motions to the largest person in the room, which I'm guessing is Hooer by a lot. You're not scared of dark basements, right?
No.
I'm right behind you.
Good. Colbin will just look at her, and you just see the piercing green eyes. Place a piece of silver glass in Adrian's hand and say, just in case.
You think this'll work?
I think it'll work.
All right. Try not to break it. So let's go. Because I know you're all frightened, but it'll be all right.
As you pull the bulkhead door open, it makes this big groan, and you can see wooden steps leading down into the darkness.
Okay. Is there any light at all down there, or no?
There's no light source, no. But light penetrates it. You can see some of the moonlight is kind of flooding in.
Has anybody got any lights? You got little magic lights? Because I got to really hang on to this piece of glass.
Is there like a candle nearby? That's maybe if there's any candles nearby, Amer can cast prestidigitation on the candles to light them up.
Yeah, you do so. You can see there's a little. This isn't brass. This is like a tin candle holder, very simply made, probably really cheap material. But the candle itself, the actual candlestick, is like a dark burgundy color. And when you cast prestidigitation to light it, I guess the wick isn't necessarily burning, but you can smell there's kind of like a scent coming off of this candle.
Interesting. Am I able to identify the scent?
Make a your choice of perception, or I'd take nature or history even.
Let's go with the perception check then.
Sure.
Whoa. Okay. I hit 2 apparently.
Choices. All right.
Choices. Whatever. I'll take. I can always take the first one. I always not know anything.
We'll go with the 20. We'll say that you rolled with advantage, because as you sit there, there's no like huge urgency. So you take a moment, sniff it, and after a while, you realize that this candle seems to have been custom made by someone probably in this house of some weird material. There's like a certain candles are made often of like wax or fat. This candle was made by a particular type of fat that was kind of prepared, and there's something mixed in with it that's creating this burgundy color. It's not done for aesthetics, but there's an ingredient you're unable to pinpoint.
I think Amer's gonna look at this at the candle for a little bit, ponder for it. Exactly what were these? What were they? Who lived here again?
Oh, the Brickle-Rubs, a family of gnomes.
Yes, but what exactly did they do? Just out of curiosity.
Gosh, I mean, they were very friendly. They had a lot of money. They were fleeing from somewhere. Something dark magic. No, nothing unusual.
kind of like has like a raised eyebrow.
Who needs his eyes just get larger?
Dark magic, you say?
No, I mean not. I didn't say it. Well, I guess I did. Well, it was just one of the children, or some of the children. There was a lot of children, but they were they all really related? They were very nice. Extremely hospitable. Made nice pies.
Pies, you say?
What? What's suspicious about pies?
Pies are always suspicious. You should not always accept a free slice of pie, for there's always a price attached to them.
So, just to quickly cut over, Moon and Adrian, you can see a desk sitting in the office right there on the ground floor, just inside the entryway. Is there anything else you'd like to do? You could like look around at other stuff as well, but
check out the desk. I mean, if this candle is kind of suspicious, I mean, what else is? I don't know about your friends here.
So moving into the office, you notice there's a fireplace, and there's like a whole candle making like process and ingredients sitting out in front of the fireplace. Looks like someone was spending hours and hours making candles. You see fat and wax dripped all over the floor, but sitting on top of the desk, there is a piece of parchment that lists settlers and guards by name who were stationed at Dinegal. Let me give you a handout, actually. It's listed as a record made by someone named Morris Biven. Morris Biven has the title of Brechdin, which is essentially the local person in charge, the sheriff, to use Coleman's words. And it lists a whole bunch of names, people who were stationed at different places and their responsibilities.
Are there any other marks, like they were noting particular people, or?
Nope. You do notice the passage that reads, "It has become apparent that we lack the settlers to cover all duties. I have therefore found it necessary to charge the soldiers stationed here with secondary tasks. The brave stationed here are as follows." And then it lists a bunch of people, several names going to the trade house. One person is listed as the chef. several people, including Andrus Nilo, listed under apothecary. And then another list of 2 people at the trade house. And finally, Venorin Ziadminalia is listed as the hostler.
Interesting. Does anybody else read Common? Because I don't know what this says. I only read Elven.
Since Lynn is in the room with Agent, we can figure that out. Is in this room with all of these candles, is this also the room where we would have seen the oil lamp from the outside, or did we see that inside?
No, that was upstairs.
Oh.
Upstairs. Okay. And it was an oil lamp or a candle?
It looked like a lamp, like it had that kind of gentle would fade up and then fade down of a lamp being adjusted.
Okay. Is there anything else in any of the drawers here?
There's a book, a tome bound in old leather, and the title of it is A Touch of Bone, and the author is Aris Niminar. And as you kind of open up the cover, you can see there's a handwritten inscription.
Is it in Common?
It's in Common. Actually, no. Actually, this one's in Elvish.
Okay.
Hilarious.
And this makes sense. I'm not just BSing here. So in Elvish, it reads, "This book is strictly for study purposes," and it's signed A.N.
A.N.
Oh, like Andrus, the son. Can we hand it over to Saren and say, like, does this look like your son's handwriting?
Yeah, she takes it and flips through it. Yes, that was his inscription. That's his handwriting. And she says, "I don't see any other sign. I wonder who he gave it to."
He must have given it to one of the Brockelburns or
Brockelrubs.
Brockelrubs, right? Since this is their house.
I guess
True, but I believe your son was also stationed at the apothecary according to this task list.
I'm not aware there was an apothecary in town, so maybe he was acting as apothecary. We should check out the inn.
Fake apothecary? A little bit?
No, I've had my fair share of faith apothecaries.
Oh no, I assure you, his magical knowledge is substantial. He's trained for 20 years under various alchemists.
Are we able to determine with just like a quick flip through what this book is about?
Yeah, it's about the uses of bone meal from various types of humanoids in preparing arcane implements. And you see a particularly worn page talks about preparing humanoid fat to create candles that can illuminate things that are otherwise invisible.
Amer's going to put the candle closer to the book and see if the light from the candle illuminates anything in the book.
So you had lit it with a prestidigitation. You
Right.
think probably it would only work if the actual wick was burning down the fat.
Ah, I see.
So you can light it, with mundane means.
So I'll just end it and light it with mundane means. And
Yeah, it gives off this kind of weird red colored light. And as it does, you see a child walk through the main hall and look toward you. And then just make wide eyes and kind of step backward up the stairs, watching you walking up the stairs backwards. This is like a 6-year-old child. And definitely one of the, is it Brackelrub? One of the Brackelrub children.
like I said, ghosts.
The kid is backing up though.
Mm-hmm.
I try to look less intimidating, but I don't really do a very good job about it because I still have that piece of glass in my hand, and I'm like,
The child looks confused, and no amount of beckoning gets her attention as she just walks up the stairs, and then you hear
for Hunitsa.
you hear a door close as she goes out of sight.
Hunitsa, I think they're invisible gnomes in this house, and you know them, right?
Oh yeah, there's 7 children, and I can name them all, but I'm not going to do that right now because we're in a rush.
Yeah, you can see that
when we lay
Saren
eyes on one.
Saren is like running out the door and looking toward town and where the inn is.
You just ran away?
Yeah, she ran out of the house and is now standing in front of the house, kind of like looking out to see if she can see the inn through the rain.
Isn't the town destroyed?
You saw that the town, looked largely destroyed, but there are some buildings still intact.
Hunitsa, brass key in hand, eyes wide, is going to also light a candle, regular candle, and slowly walk up the stairs because, ironically, Hunitsa has terrible vision.
Okay, so walking up the stairs with your regular candle.
Yes.
You look around. You find the door you think maybe was opening and closing. You look in the room. You see no one, but you do see an oil lamp sitting on a desk.
Hunitsa is going to approach yon oil lamp, and he's going to take a look at the oil inside of it. Does it seem untoward?
No, it looks low, but other than that.
Okay. Aimer!
Yes, I'm coming.
Bring the candle with you.
Very well, very well. I'm not used to being ordered around that much.
Well, this is just more of a request, really. You don't have to.
Oh, well, if that's the case. Brings the candle up to the room.
Okay, as you enter the room with this red light, you see the child illuminate, revealed as that light is shed into the space. She's sitting in the corner with her hands over her knees, and she just looks up at you, and her jaw slowly opens.
I'm going to continue to remain with my original conclusion of ghosts.
Benito, what's this child's name?
This is Beatrix. Beatrix Brickle Rub. Beatrix. Child, are you okay?
You see her opening her mouth and closing it, almost like breathing, but long and belabored. She seems unable to speak.
Hunitsa's going to approach this child and is going to try to lay a feather on her.
Okay, yeah, the feather seems to get purchase on her.
Sorry, I'm a bird, so when I say lay a feather.
Yeah, as a hand?
Yeah, a hand. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, your limb, your hand, rests on her, and you do feel her. You can see her because of this red light that's kind of creating a weird image in front of you. But yeah, there's something very surreal and dreamlike about it.
For the second time today, Hunitsa is going to check for a pulse.
Okay.
Does the child appear to be alive?
Yes, you feel a pulse. It is strange and so slow. It's almost unrecognizable, but you feel it.
Hunitsa's going to turn to Aimer and say, "No, she's not a ghost. She's alive. But how?"
Perhaps...
What do you mean, how? You just breathe. Don't you just exist?
Yeah, well, also I walk around, not being... Wait, not a ghost, just invisible, maybe? And Hunitsa's going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Yeah, you don't detect any spell effects in play other than the magic coming from the wax of the candle that's burning down. By the way, the candle is about halfway extinguished at this point, burning very fast.
What sort of magic is, what sort of school of yon magic is it, would you say?
It would be
guess.
Divination, I think.
Sure,
probably.
Perfect. Okay. Beatrix, where's the rest of your family? Is there anyone else here that's like you? Does she seem to be interacting with us at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
Beatrix, I'll pass on that question then.
Does the book have any other information? The one that revealed certain candles will reveal secret information. Does it have any other information about what kinds of things it reveals, or what ways to make things invisible?
Nothing in particular. It looks like whoever was using it was extrapolating from details in the book, but not following like a recipe. However, it does mention Shadowfell creatures and creatures composed of shadow, and that seems to relate to the process that it describes.
You said earlier that there was a station for making the candles. Was there any really weird, unusual ingredients?
Not just sitting there that you can see, although you do see what looks like an empty bowl that probably had rendered fat sitting in it. But no, you don't see like body parts or anything like that.
Yeah.
When we saw when Kier Kaladin falled, and we saw that raven-like creature was attacking people, and afterwards they walked away, seeming to survive, but then just sort of faded away. Is there like a similar vibe here?
Absolutely.
Oh, cheese and crackers.
Yeah. I think maybe some of us should go after Saren to see what she's found, but maybe a couple of us can stay here and try to make more of these candles so that we can have them and use them in the future.
That might be wise.
How easy does it seem? Do we have the ingredients to make more of the candles? Do we have the ingredients?
Yeah, the only thing you're missing is whatever was sitting in that bowl of fat.
Corbin!
I don't
know. Corbin will walk up the stairs to Hunitsa, say, so have you determined that she's not a ghost yet?
Oh,
I think she is.
I think she's something else.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't see my breath. That's usually a sure sign. What do you need?
We need to make more of these candles, and we need the fat of a humanoid.
Oh no, I'm out.
No, I'm not asking for your. No. Just can you just go get some?
It doesn't just show up, you know.
Well, no, but you have a certain talents.
But that's not one of them.
Colbin, you probably recognize all of this magic, including the processes described in the book, as being related to hag covens and magic, probably Feywild magic made to harness or combat the Shadowfell.
Right.
Oh, so Sealy. Okay.
Well,
maybe not Sealy, but just
no hag magic.
Just hag magic.
Hag magic.
Not familiar with too many Sealy hags. And I'll point that out. I'll say, listen, these sorts of ingredients and this sort of magic, this is dark. And I mean, you can think of me what you want, but I ain't that dark.
Okay, so maybe we don't have stuff to make more of these candles. Maybe we'll just bring this one with us, and if we find more, we can bring them with us, and we should go check on Saren and maybe see if there's anything in the town we can see.
You said her son was an alchemist, apothecarist. I'm gonna grab that book.
Great.
Grab the book. I'm gonna extinguish the flame since we won't need it in the rain.
Let's watch and see if she disappears.
Yeah, as you extinguish the flame, the child is gone. You have no further sense of her.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Hunitsa's gonna grab any other like special ingredients that she might need for making candles later.
So we're up here. Who do you think turned on that lamp? We haven't seen anybody capable of touching a lamp.
Well, she's perfectly. No, she's here. Go over there. Yeah, you don't have to see her to touch her. Go
You
on.
can touch her. Are you sure? I'm so
I don't know. I
confused.
mean, you shouldn't just touch. That things sound weird. But she can turn things on and off. She can open doors.
She can't talk though.
Well, she's not talking right now. I don't think she really even knows that we're here. But she knows the room's here. That means there might be more like her. Oh gosh, the whole family. Well, okay. So if you bump into someone, just try to be nice about it. I'm looking directly at you.
How do I know if I'm gonna bump into him? I can't touch them. I can't touch them. You just yelled at me.
As Adrian just gestures like that, you feel your hand brush against the girl in the dark room.
She tries to look all intimidating and big again.
Well, this is
I'm
as
gonna move over
ghost-like
here.
as one can get.
They're not you
unseen.
know what? Yeah, they're ghosts, but they're also ghosts that can interact with things, and just be nice to them. They might not even know that they're ghosts. We'll use that word. They might not even know that they're ghosts.
Or skulks.
So
What's a skulk?
go ahead, sorry.
Skulk, people who are forgotten. It's like people forget them, and then the world forgets them, and they lash out.
I relate with this in so many ways now.
We saw them. We saw them in the fall of Care.
That's what.
Remember?
There's a name for these things. For the name for what happens to those people, then. Yeah, when that giant raven thing. Okay, so they're not ghosts. They're skulks.
Yeah.
Well, let's go find Saren. I don't like the idea of them being alone.
I don't either. And Colbin will press a piece of silver glass into Moon's hand.
Moon will attach it to their scimitar. Or
Nice.
a dagger, maybe. That might be easier.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Great.
Also, Moon's just going to leave like a piece of paper and a writing implement behind in that room in case that child can write, and we'll come back to it later.
Okay. So you catch up about 5 minutes later with Saren, who is walking through the wooden gatehouse. That gatehouse is probably a generous term for what surrounds Donegal. But inside the town, let me just bring you to a map that will kind of show you some of the sites you can look around at. So there's right in front of you, walking through the gate, there's a trade house. Looks like a 2-story building that it's kind of a handsome structure as described by our designer. You see the stonework is really gorgeous, masterful stonework. The roof has completely collapsed. And it looks like it's just a skeleton at this point. There are stone pillars outside the entryway, but there are lights on in the windows that have no roof.
Oh, this whole town might be skulked.
You can also see Saren moving toward the inn, which is kind of southeast of where you are. And then directly ahead of you, distance is about 120 feet, is a kind of large library. Anyone who knew anything about Donegal would know that the Library of Donegal is kind of its main feature or amenity as a town.
I had totally forgotten that the Library of Donegal is like its main feature. I mean, as a whole town. Punitza is really into libraries, cloistered scholar. It's like her thing. But she's holding it in right now because this whole town is real skulky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aimer's gonna go looking for Saren first, so...
Okay, she's heading toward the inn.
Punitza's
Alright,
going to stick
so-
with Aimer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moon's
I
not
don't
interested
think we
in
should
splitting
all
up
split
right
up.
now.
I feel like that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
See, there's 5 of us, and there's only 3 buildings. Huh, that's weird. I guess the docks also count as a location. Oh, and there's the farm. Okay, that's 5 locations. Got it. Easy. Done.
So as you approach the inn, you can see it's an impressive structure. The fog and rainfall kind of shroud it. It looks like there are lantern lights in the lower windows. And then there's a big sign in front that says the Crow's Nest. And it looks like the prow of a ship with a crow resting on it. And then alongside it, there's also a flag that displays loyalty toward the Earl, Orwin Reese. But you can see the flag is slowly slipping down as the rope kind of sags under the weight of the rain. The flag is just slowly creaking and lowering down to the bottom of the mast.
Open will grab it before it hits the mud.
Looking into the common room, you can see there is a kind of scarcely laid bar, and along the windows there is a lantern lit, a couple sconces. There's no sound within, other than as you enter the doorway, you start to hear glung, glung, the stringing, very slow stringing of a harp coming from upstairs.
Before we go upstairs, this is an inn. Yeah.
Mm.
So Colvin's going to look around to find any sort of serviceware they have. This is if it's a decent enough inn, they might have silver, and it might be better than a shattered mirror. Anything, forks, knives.
I want a cutscene of just
Even
Colvin like
let's look for a spoon. If it's silver,
tying
it's
silverware to a stick.
That's what I was just like a fork on the end of a spear.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you know, when you get angry enough and you have to use a silver spoon as your final choice of weaponry.
It's a knife, a butter knife.
if you stab hard enough, it's a knife.
So scanning around, you can see a little bit of silverware. I shouldn't say silverware there. There are forks and other utensils, but none of it is made of silver.
Flatware.
Dang it.
Yeah. There is, however, a handheld mirror, around the handle of which is wrapped a piece of parchment with writing on it. And you also see a bottle of oil.
Let's take a look at that note.
Yeah, unfurling it, you see that it reads as follows. Roland, if you live, meet me where all words linger. May this serve to you as witness of all the horrors that should remain unseen.
Horror.
The place where all words linger. That
Well,
sounds very somber and...
It's a library.
Yeah.
Right.
What? No,
Library.
it's the trade house.
No.
Roland.
I'm going to have to agree that it is most certainly the library.
Okay. Roland is mentioned though in the trade house on the last letter we had. That's where Roland was assigned.
As you're discussing this, you also see another notice that has been nailed to the wall behind the bar, and it says, beginning rotation for the evening watch. And then it lists the names Andrus, Cadwallader, Fiolid, Roland, and Venorin.
For morning watch, for first watch. And the watch.
If we use that mirror and sort of like angle it so we're looking at the room through the mirror, do we see anything different about the room?
You don't. Not in this main tavern area. You do still hear that harp music coming from upstairs, though.
Before we investigate that, the oil is...
Like lantern oil.
Okay, and it's also, like, Kunisa's going to give it a sniff. Does it seem anything untoward about it?
Nope.
All right, Hunitsa's going to, she got the lantern. She got the lantern oil. She's played Silent Hill. She combines them together. And she very slowly ascends the staircase towards the completely cheerful and in no way ominous harp music.
So,
why did the music change?
As you look into the room, you said you have the hand mirror. Is that what you said? Okay. So kind of looking into the room, in the reflection of the mirror, you can see a gray and horrid figure sitting right on the windowsill looking out. There is a broken harp in front of them, and curtains billow as suddenly the figure snaps their gaze towards you.
And this is in the reflection of the mirror?
Only in the reflection of the mirror. Behind her, there's a full-length mirror in the far corner, but it's covered up with a sheet.
It's almost like you have a mirror in your hand, too.
Oh, this is a special one. It's gonna let me cut somebody.
This is my stabbing mirror.
You always gotta have a stabbing mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes are just fixed on you with what looks like malice.
All of
Her
us,
mouth-
or just one?
Whoever is visible in the doorway of that room.
Moon slowly backs out of that room.
As you do, the eyes kind of darken and you see her mouth slowly open.
So we should leave.
We hear that horrible sound.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, this one makes noise.
How far away is the covered mirror?
15 feet. It's not a large room.
Okay. Yeah, that's one mage hand away. Kunita's going to, like, trembling, arms outstretched, just sensing a connection between these creatures and mirrors, is going to focus on their spell and pull the shroud away from the mirror.
Okay, as you pull it now, everyone can see, looking into the room, reflected in the mirror, is the same woman sitting in the windowsill, about halfway between you and that mirror. You also see that sitting beside her on a little end table, there is a parchment, a letter. There's a chest in the room. And then you can also see on the back of the door, someone has nailed another note.
With the exception of the chest, Kunita is going to retrieve those things without moving from her position.
Great. Okay. What you see in your hands as you bring them to you,
Trembling.
the parchment on the back of the door. It contains a message. This is the Journal of Era. You say that name.
Yeah, Era. Got it. Heard.
Right? Yeah, the Journal of Era, I think it's Holymirian or Holymian.
That sounds good.
No one comes to Dinagal, presuming it to be pleasant. Despite this, I thought I could bring something to this dark place. I was under the delusion my music and skill with the bow might make a difference. I was ready for cults, and I was prepared for floods and cold winters. I was not ready for this. Andrus returned from his watch 2 evenings past. We all assumed he had turned mad. He was raving about Cadwallader turning into a werewolf, perhaps infected from the last Black Blood raid we fought off. Roland escaped into the unknown, but Yonorin and Fioled both suffered gruesome wounds before the 3 of them managed to retreat. Andrus insisted that on their return to the outpost, Fioled began to transform into a lycanthrope. But he claimed Venorin screamed and writhed as shadows consumed him, before simply vanishing. We all thought him mad. I do not want to see when I begin to succumb. The gash is still seeping through my sleeve. I've covered my mirror, and I will play my melodies for the length of my remaining future. If you read this, be wary. If you are already here, you are already lost. I'm sorry. And then the harp clatters to the floor, and the woman in the reflection of the mirror runs towards you, almost gliding across the floor. What would you like to do?
Close the door.
Okay. Yep. You close the door and you do not see her emerge. You can hear thumping, scraping along the surface of the wood behind it. But she is unable to burst through.
I was ready to stab with my mirror.
We check Saren's wound. Her bite. Saren's bite.
Is Sarah even with us?
Saren, you hear her opening a door down the hall. She seems to be entering what you would guess is Andrus's room.
We should hurry down there because
Agreed.
she's obviously not thinking clearly.
Should we go by like watching the mirror, the little handheld mirror?
Sounds great, Moon. We're right behind you.
The other items, by the way, that you've collected include...
There was a letter nailed to the door.
There is a schedule, a piece of parchment that indicates that all the settlers and soldiers, apart from the night watch, are to report to the library every dusk.
Well, biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
You also find a journal fragment, which seems to have several passages that suggest someone feels very guilty about a sin. The passage, Merwin vows she did not harm my love, alleges her own heart never throbbed for me, but only for convenience. But there I see her. Some would call her a monstrosity, and yet I know, Felana. She stands and stares, perhaps because she knows I see past the vile and featureless creature. She creeps across the cobblestone as if returning from the harvests, alone, for she devoured whole all the others. And other passages that seem to suggest this person was wondering if they were going mad.
Andrus?
It doesn't match the handwriting you saw that Saren identified as Andrus's.
But it is more names from the list that we saw, the record of people in town. So
I have a feeling that the record that we have here is the names of everybody in this town, or that was here,
So.
or that still is
Those that
here.
Survived.
yeah, it seems like whatever happened here, it wasn't like new people coming to town. It was the people who were already here and something happened to them. So probably once we can get Saren to go with us, the library is our next stop.
I agree. It seems as if something far worse befell these townspeople after they were already being assaulted by the cult. And then something worse was here.
You hear a door close and Saren steps out from Andrus's room. She's holding what looks like a very old, finely crafted bow, and she tosses it to Adrian or anyone else who's kind of standing there at the ready. And she says, no sign of him. But she holds out another book, leather-bound tome.
Okay.
This one is entitled Arcane Glimpses. And it says, there's an inscription, Felana, at your request, and it's signed A.N.
A.N. Andrus Delo. Delo.
So, seems there was a connection to this Felana.
Is there any one section or page in this book that seems more used than the rest of it, like the touch of bone?
This one, not so much. It seems to be discussing illusion magic and even makes mention of the creation of simulacra, which are like illusions so powerful they're essentially real and physical. You get the sense he might have been just doing further research or making a recommendation to the person that he inscribed the book to. Saren says, Andrus used to write about that harpist era. I always wondered if something was between them. And she just kind of goes quiet.
Well, looks like she returned from the harvest.
She returned from the harvest, changed. Featureless, like a skulk.
Saren, we have some information about your son, and thinking that truth might be the best for it, hands her the note from that was nailed to the back of the door, the harp player's note.
Okay. Yeah, she takes it. She says, "Still, this isn't evidence of anything that happened to Andrus."
Well, it says
he might be
Andrus
all right.
returned from his watch 2 evenings past. We all assumed he had turned mad.
But it doesn't say that he was hurt. He might be fine, right? She looks out the window toward the library.
I mean, like, very low chance. I mean, yes, let's go check out the library.
Before we go to the library, there's something I noticed, and we should probably be careful. Pay attention. The girl goes to her room. The harpist continues to play a broken harp.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back from the harvest. They do as they did in life. It's a twisted sort of doing, but they do as they did in life. And every night, first thing, they went to the library. I'd expect those things to be there.
Great.
Also, don't get wounded by a gash. Don't get wounded.
Colbin will hold up his arm where he was gashed by one of the were-rats.
Well, everyone gets one. Don't let it happen again.
It probably has occurred to you that all of these people who have been described are of Fey ancestry. You've got gnomes. Andrus is the son of Saren, who's an elf. The woman you saw playing the harp was an elf as well.
The whole town wasn't elves, though, because we had the
Not
gnomes.
necessarily, yeah.
Okay.
But much like, well, yeah.
Well, they were as this one note indicates, someone was consumed by shadow, and we have some connections to influences from the Shadowfell, or at least inspiration from it. Perhaps this is all connected. Some essence of the Shadowfell and the fact that all of these people cannot be seen or vaguely be seen. There's more to it. And I believe we'll know more in the library.
Just out of curiosity, what time of day is it?
It's now just past dusk. You can see actually the sun kind of creating that like pale gray in the sky that's starting to lower.
Yes. Good. Good.
Well, we don't have much time then, because that means they will soon fade if there is anything on the sort of shadow going. So I guess we should make haste to the library.
Let's go meet them.
Really quickly, Graham, are there any like animals nearby, like a bird or anything?
Yeah, sure. You can see birds. I mean, they seem like they're probably keeping a little bit of distance from the town, but you can see them on the outskirts.
Mostly, I was wondering if I could use. I don't have Animal Messenger, but I have Speak with Animals, and I can ask an animal for a favor. So I was hoping Moon could just scroll out a quick note to Orwin Reese and just say like what they found so far with Donegal and everything else, and where they are now, and trying to like put stuff together, just so that like someone is aware of where we are. Moon just wants someone to know.
Great. Yeah.
Let our words not be in vain.
A bobbing little jackdaw kind of lands next to you as you speak with it and get it to take the message, and you see it flutter off toward Kaer Morhe.
Well, hopefully Orwin will either send people if he has enough people to send, or at the very least, I don't know, one day can fetch our bodies and bury them.
If we have bodies left.
Yeah, exactly.
Amer's gonna walk over to Saren. Saren, given that all that we seem to have collected so far, if things turn to the worst regarding your son.
Yes, she says, a little tense.
Are you willing, are you capable of fulfilling your duty?
I won't harm him. If you think that must be done, then you'll have to deal with me.
What if it isn't actually him? It's just a remnant.
She just goes quiet and looks kind of off at the falling sun.
Well, let's solve this little mystery now before the sun rises.
Pat. Uni says, sort of like mumbling to herself. I mean, I think it's pretty chipper outlook to think we can hurt them at all, but okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
shall we head to the library?
To the library.
To the library!
Well, the library looks like it's probably the most intact building in town. Entering the main floor, you do see some fallen shelves and so forth. Right in the front entryway, there's a large desk, and on it is a schedule that has been kind of laid out on the table. It's about a 2.5 foot long piece of parchment, and it indicates that all settlers and soldiers, apart from the night watch, are to report to the library at dusk. And there's also alongside it a report naming one of the what was it? Bumblecrust? Help me.
Brickle.
Oh yes, sorry.
Brickle rub.
The brick that one of the brickle rubs, presumably.
Yes. They were in the handouts. I mean, it's pretty. In the handout, they named every single person in the town, also included this gnomish family.
Yes,
and all
naturally.
7-8 of their children.
That one of those corpses, let's say the father of the family, was found outside of town, almost unrecognizable due to a brutal attack. The guards were unable to locate Phelana Halathel, who was supposed to be harvesting crine by the lake. And you also see on another table, as you're kind of looking through, a letter written by Andrus. This letter addresses the person whose record you found in the farmhouse, the Brickton, Morris Biven, who's kind of like the mayor, local leader. Andrus requests to return to duty, promising that his madness is subsiding.
Interesting.
And then there's kind of a last line that says, "All I need is a space to work where no one can find me."
A place to work where no one can find him. The candle making business that we found was in the basement of the farmhouse, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, it was in the main floor.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But we did comb through there.
You hear suddenly the bell toll above you in the tower of the library.
Interesting.
Glong, glong. It tolls 7.
But there's nobody to toll it.
There's well, let me be clear. This town is full of people. We just can't see them.
For now.
And they
Let's
gather.
light the candle.
Did you say you light the candle?
I
Yeah.
do light the candle.
Okay. As you light the candle, around you, you can see 8 hazy forms. Their hands are kind of like curled back in this grotesque form of like trying to walk with a human gait, but being kind of unable to. And they're just roaming around inside the library. You see one of them pick up a book, just like staring off right past the page, turn a page, keep looking, turn a page.
This was the person who made assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we have the name list, so, but it's written in common.
I go to cast comprehend languages. I stop myself.
Braketon, Bivin.
That would be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're yep. Well, they don't seem to be reacting to us.
Because we're not reacting to them yet. When we
Oh.
react to them, they don't like it.
I think it has to do with, and Hunitsa points to the mirror that Moon has. I think they just can't see us. The same way we can't see them unless we light a candle. They're not lighting a candle to see us. But when we use the mirror, we can see them, and then they can see us.
Yeah, if Moon holds up the mirror, does it make a difference? Do they all
Oh,
look
really?
the same?
Please don't.
I guess Moon will like start to hold up the mirror and then like slowly lower it down and kind of like pass it toward Hunitsa.
Hunitsa's like, no, you can hold on to it. It's fine. Just...
No, but I think we're on to something. If they react to the mirrors, and this candle illuminates them, perhaps that is the key.
Oh, you're making my head hurt.
You think we can use the candle in the mirror to show them themselves?
Wouldn't hurt to try.
I mean, it might.
Yeah, it really could, but you know.
But yeah, we still could try.
Someone cast Detect Magic. Was that Hunitsa or was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Hunitsa.
I'm gonna say it's still going as long as you're okay with that.
I mean, Hunitsa has the capacity to cast as a ritual, and her ritual casting takes the same amount of time as her normal casting. Order of the scribe.
Yeah. Okay.
So
she's
basically casting it as we're going through the scenario.
So maybe as you re-up that ritual, you sense that there is a magical abjuration emanation coming from a corner bookshelf on the main floor, away from where some of these skulks are roaming.
Oh, my wizard senses are... Something's going on over here. It's got like a tinny kind of metallic taste in the air. Abjuration magic, I think.
Quiet place to work.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Hoping will draw us daggers.
Maybe. I get my stabbing shard ready.
Mitsu pulls out a book.
Emir's gonna pull out their short bow and draw an arrow.
Moon is gonna cast Wild Shape and go into astral constellation archer form.
Holy crap! What the heck?
So they cast bright light in 10 feet, and I think dim light 10 feet after that.
We all
Ow.
We all pull out weapons and books. Moon is like, this is not even my final form.
It's not. Now you have a constellation cat next to you.
Oh my god.
Nice. Interesting skills indeed. Also, it's very bright now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So approaching the magical emanation, see there's a little track in the bookshelf disguised to look like the rest of the shelf, but there's clearly a spot where a book can be placed. Thick volume, seems roughly the same size as the two books that you found.
That Hunitsa's been carrying around, but of course. Arcane glimpses and a touch of bone. Back onto the shelf you go.
Well, so there's space for one. As you place it, you see that both books are sized exactly the same. You put one of them down, and it sinks into the shelf just about half an inch, and then the bookcase opens up, revealing a stairwell. It reeks. As soon as it opens, you just have this burst of pungent, like wet paper, burning fat, mold.
Blech.
Fantastic. And Amor takes another look over at Saren. Are you sure?
Saren, if you want to stay up here and just watch our back, that's a very real choice that I think we would all feel comfortable with. That was directed at you, Saren.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I know this is hard for you, but
she's like full on brooding. She probably doesn't actually answer.
That's okay, Saren. I need you to wait here. Here, hold this. And Hunita's going to give her a bag of sand. I need you to hold this bag of sand.
She looks at you like she wants to hit you, but she takes the bag of sand and she waits. You see her sword kind of drop to her side.
That's gonna. Who needs to let her know? I'll do anything I can to bring your boy back to you.
She's just looking at you like she doesn't even know what to say. Like if she says something, she's gonna regret it, so she just keeps her mouth shut.
Colbin will put his hand on Hunita's shoulder and give a nod like, well, let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm right behind you.
And he will go in front of Hunita.
Okay.
He'll lead the pack down if he needs to, because what's going to be waiting at the bottom is not going to be anything anybody's going to want to look at.
As you descend the stairs, you see that the light down here is a strange red light that matches the candle you've got, and it seems to be coming from multiple sources. I'll move you over to the map. Stairwell descends, and at the bottom you can see two circles of glowing magic glyphs, and inside of which are standing, chained around the neck, two townsfolk, both elves, who look, that same drab, smooth, almost featureless appearance of the other skulks you've seen, and they're pressing as if against a barrier. On the upside of the room, you can see Andrus, who is a half-elf young man. He looks like he's in sort of prime of life. His features, however, are haggard. He looks exhausted. He doesn't respond to you entering at first. He's kind of stooped over a desk, and you can see him like whipping up some kind of concoction in a little mortar and pestle. And there's a blue light that pulses through his literal veins. You can see under the skin as he does this. He's kind of cursing under his breath. Damn it. Damn it.
Does he look like he's actually alive?
Yeah, he doesn't look like the skulks.
Okay.
Andrus.
He startles. And he says, what are you doing? What are you doing in here? You're not supposed to come down here. No one's supposed to find me down here. I've got to find it. I've got to find a way to stop it. You can see them, can't you? Do you want to look like that? And then he turns back to the table. He starts leafing through a thick leather book. You can see there's a dagger on the table covered in blood.
Andrus, your mother's up here. She's waiting for you. She wants to go home.
Oh, no, I can't go home right now. The grip of the black blood, it's festering in my Fey heritage. I can feel it. It's moving through me. I don't have much time. I've got to stop it.
How can we help?
It's a ritual. I'm almost finished with it. I'm almost finished.
Okay, well, we'll leave you to it.
What?
He's on the right track.
The ritual of solace. It'll cure this. And they called it the Howling Disease. They didn't know the half of it. You should see what it does to people like us. And he kind of looks specifically at anyone with Fey heritage. So I'm guessing, or the Fey touched. So that would be Kolbin, Hunitsa, Amer, and now you see Saren standing behind you at the top of the stairs. And she says, Andrus, what in the hells have you done to yourself?
Whoa. He's fixing it. He's done this to himself. He's trying to help.
He just looks back very coldly at his mother and says, the time for discussion has ended. I must finish. And he starts chanting.
Well, yeah, looks like he's
what is he chanting in?
It's an arcane language. He seems to have developed this ritual specifically. If someone wants to make an Arcana check, you might learn.
Can I comprehend language, is it?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a spell slot over a roll, no problem. So specifically, Moon, it's unfamiliar to you, but with comprehend languages, you believe that he has kind of ad hoc'd this ritual together. It seems internally consistent in that it might have elements of like a curse removal within it.
Cool.
But it's very experimental. There's something about it, that you can tell right off the bat is a little bit dangerous.
Oh, dangerous like how?
Oh, like it might fail.
What happens if it fails? Well, what could happen if it fails?
That would require an Arcana check.
I'll make that.
Okay, go ahead.
I also made an Arcana check.
I see a 7 for Amer. Is that?
Yep. Did not get much with that either.
However, Hunitsa with a 24. Now that you've comprehended languages, you're kind of going through the math, for lack of a better term, of this ritual.
Yeah.
You think that it is going. Blue flame, and the horrific sound of his scream kind of fades away, and the spectral Andrus, like a blot of ink, looks toward you with malice.
By Ogma's scraggly beard, that was not supposed to happen.
Let's roll initiative.
Okay.
Taking a moment to explain it to the party as if they didn't know, Hunitsa tells them, the ritual's gone horribly awry. This is not what he intended. Furthermore, I believe it's turned him into a being of pure hate.
Oh, we lost stream.
Oh, yeah.
Lost stream.
Let's see. I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Oh, now we're back.
Now it's back,
Yay,
except for
we're back.
Graham.
We're all a little bit rearranged. I will now be playing Kolbin.
Oh, we are all rearranged. I see that.
Yep.
I grab the nearest object and I charge directly at it, telling the others to run and save themselves.
That is not even how it works.
I'll hold it off.
It's not like let them kill me. It's like let me kill them.
I pull out a penknife and I charge.
As one
Need
does.
my glass?
Okay, go ahead and fill in your initiatives there on the tracker.
Excuse me, I have hiccups.
That's terrifying. Nisha just figured that surrounded by all this knowledge and information and the amazing wealth of text inside the library here at Kaer Morhen, that that Anders would have totally nailed this whole ritual thing. Little did she realize. No, not wait.
Too experimental.
Anders. Yeah.
Yeah, Anders.
Yeah.
Okay. Adrian is first with a very high 23.
Wasted a 20.
I mean, is it a waste?
Get in there.
I mean, usually. All right. Do I have to use this stupid tank? No, we can move.
I feel like I want to break this damn thing in my hands.
Yeah, nothing you've witnessed has told you that they have the same immunities that a lycanthrope does.
Yeah. Let's see. 5. All right. I get there, and yeah, I get a little upset, and I will use my battle axe because this piece of glass is annoying me, and I cut myself on it now. Just holding it, so. Roll 20 does not like me.
Wow. Ouch.
All right. I'm out. I mean, I unless an 8 hits, which I doubt.
It does not, unfortunately. Okay, swing your axe, and it just passes through the shadow for a second.
Yep.
And we'll go to Hunitsa.
Oh dear. By the by, these arcane glyphs surrounding these two creatures down here, how are they looking?
So far they're intact.
I don't like the way you said any of those words. So, in far. Yeah, okay. Well, we're just going to go ahead and Hunitsa from here is going to oh, I'm really sorry about this, Saren, but Anders, I don't think we're gonna get him back, but we'll do our best. That was a lie. And is going to cast Mind Sliver on.
Okay.
DC 13 intelligence save. It's a risk. He might be really smart still.
It is a 14.
Well, there it is. And then
seemingly calling on, whatever vestige of his alchemical knowledge he has, he pushes your mind sliver out.
All right. Hunitsa's gonna just stand right there. That's it. She's good.
Okay. We'll go to Aimer.
Aimer is gonna they will shift from that somber kind of blue and silver hair, and it returns to this like fiery red and gold and outfit, and you can see that Aimer's eyes are now kind of turning into like this combination of like bright lights with sapphire and with sapphire irises. And before Aimer does anything, Aimer kind of takes a quick glance and says, "Saren, I'm sorry, Saren, but we have to do something." And we'll conjure first a large fiery tentacle behind Adrian, which will strike Andrus.
Okay. As you cast that, you just hear her say under her breath, "No." Saren seems to not be quite on board with this, but that's not the DM saying don't do it. Just to be clear.
Of course not.
That's NPC saying no.
Okay.
Okay, and the saving
hold
throw
on.
is what kind?
No, it's an attack roll. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Roll it. Nope, it did not. Okay, hold on.
Wow.
Yeah, 24 hits.
Okay, the 24 definitely hits. That's always good. Did it roll that damage? Nope, it did not. Sometimes it's either very delayed or it's one of the two.
Yeah, I think there's a lag. No worries.
There is a lag on my end, I think.
Okay,
No.
7.
There we go. So it's gonna reduce also the speed down by 10 if that matters.
Great.
And for now, Aimer is just going to shoot a shot with the short bow first before having to resort to anything else.
Excellent. Oh, by the way, who's got the elven longbow that Saren gave to the group?
Believe
don't
it is resting on the floor of the inn where we left it.
I'd say if nothing else,
No.
Aimer should take that. Unless,
Somebody should take it, not me.
I don't think I'm proficient. I'm not proficient in longbows.
Okay, great. So we'll say that Colbin's got it.
Okay, Coben's got it. That's good. Let me see. So short bow, I roll a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. Did it do the damage? No, it did not. Okay, there it is. I think it was, I guess 7?
Okay.
7 piercing damage?
Yep. Very nice. Okay, so between the tentacle reaching out and the bow shot, you can see the form kind of flickering suddenly, the blue flame like spurting, and you think Andrus is definitely being harmed by these attacks. The strange shadow in front of you says, "Let me do my work."
Aimer has this really reluctant face on him, and will pass and finish his turn that way.
Okay. On Andrus' turn, those whispers continue under his breath. Damn it! Needed to finish. And I would like Adrian, Aimer, and Hunitsa to please make wisdom saving throws.
Wisdom saving throws.
Don't want to.
If I
Wow.
must.
Okay.
Rolling rocks tonight.
Did not want to roll for me.
See?
Did it roll?
Look at
Oh,
that.
it did.
Oh.
Okay, the DC of the saving throw is 14, so it looks like Adrian is the only one who failed. Adrian, you just
He
take
rolled
9.
3 times. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, the 17 will take.
Yeah, because it had delay.
So Adrian, you just take 9 psychic damage, and that's the only effect.
Okay, just 9. All right,
For now.
fine.
And I think after that, he's gonna move.
That's
He glides past you, provoking an opportunity attack, Adrian.
Oh, I take it. I'm gonna take it. It helps if I'm not rolling initiative. Click on the right button, Tony.
Nice.
16 will hit.
Nice.
All right. I'm raging, so this will be an extra +2 because I'm
Nice.
mad. Ugh,
So angry.
did it work?
Not seen it yet.
Uh-huh.
As Andrus is passing by, and you take this incredible axe swing, Andrus's form glides past a set of candles, and the red light from the candles goes out. So now the center of the room is no longer illuminated. It's just in darkness in the center. Okay, looks like.
So it's two-handed. So
Is that
9 plus soul
plus
11.
2? 11? Great.
Yeah. That was a really long delay there.
Yeah. All right, and then Andrus will end. Is going to move this way and snuff out 2 more candles. So now I'll just draw you a little line here for clarity where the light is.
Oh.
So this red light is only now illuminating that section of the room, if you can see where that, to the right of that curved.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, and we'll go to Colvin.
With that change in the illumination of the room, can we no longer see Anders?
Ooh, that is correct.
Okay, and we can also no longer see the 2 creatures that are in shadow.
Unless someone has a source of illumination that reaches that far. I guess that's the question. What illumination do you have as a group?
Oh, I'm assuming these are the special candles. So like regular torchlight wouldn't illuminate them.
The skulk's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Moon's body.
Aimer does have one of the has the candle they were carrying with them lit. So.
Okay, I'll give you a little aura that'll tell us where it goes. I think that candle is going to, I think it's 10 and 10, right? So
10 foot bright, 10 foot dim. That's candle.
Okay, I'll give you a little 20-foot aura. That way we can see it clearly.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I think though that means that most of the skulks are going to be not visible.
You know what? Fuck it. Candles actually are 5 and 5.
Oh, candles are 5 and 5.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So,
Perfect.
all right.
So there's where the light is.
Okay.
There's also Moon is still lit up with like 10 feet of bright light and then 10 more of dim.
Right. Okay. Great. So that'll help you see the room a little bit more, but I think Andrus is out of that range.
Yeah, and Anders, when he's not illuminated by the special candles, is he visible or not visible?
He seemed to be. When he was blowing those candles out, you still saw the shadow moving.
Gotcha. So he's still visible. It's just dark.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Colvin, go ahead.
That important question is that we cannot see Anders.
That's right, unless you move light further.
All right. So there is ambient light back there. So there's no ambient light here.
This one's been blown out, the one you're pinging. The light that's there is coming from the candles in the back corner.
Yep. And the aura around Moon, that's a torchlight?
No, that's Moon's like body is lit up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because we all pulled out mundane objects and you went Super Saiyan. That's right.
Yes, precisely.
So this changes everything. Colvin sees all of this happen, and this is worrying because he can't see anything. So he's got an option. There's a crate right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he is going to stop, and he's just going to begin to whisper and mutter. And as he does, a fiery eladrin will appear right here and set that entire crate on fire, as if it were lit by a bonfire. There is my druidcraft in action. Enjoy that, y'all. So now that there's a bonfire in the middle of the room,
that'll illuminate basically the full room at this point. Okay. Well done. So now you can see Andrus once more, lit in this flickering flame.
Amazing. So that was a cantrip. So I'm going to bonus action Hunter's Mark Andrus, so he can't go skulking off in the corner and I can't tell he's there anymore.
Perfect.
And that's going to be the end of my turn.
Okay, go to Moon.
Moon in this like constellation form is going to concentrate for a moment and pull up the form of an archer, that like all of the stars on their body turn into an archer, and try to hit Andrus with this fancy thing. Oh, that's not gonna hit. An 8.
Ooh, nope, sadly no.
That just figures. Let me see. That is... I think that attack is a bonus action. When you activate this
I think
format,
that's right.
it is a bonus
Mhm.
action,
Mhm.
yeah. So I guess the other thing we will try is the guiding bolt. And hope
Great.
that that one works. No, 11 to hit.
11 does not hit. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
So the stars kind of fly
Rough.
right over Andrus, striking the
Very
stone
rough.
wall.
Ugh, darn. Well, I tried, friends.
Okay, that'll be all for your turn.
Yes.
Do you want to move? Oh, I guess you're kind of a backline tactician, so we'll go to Adrian then.
Woohoo! All right. So I have dark vision. Can I see him at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's now illuminated by that fire.
Yeah, that's true. The fire's over there. So. And this stuff is water.
Just water pooled up. Yeah.
Okay. There.
Hoover walks up and just gives him a little boop.
Yep. Just bump.
Yeah,
Oh my
that-
god.
No,
Oh,
those
this is
were
damage. Why
That was
is
just
it?
damage.
Okay. Well, here.
Rip. Rip.
Oh my
Fine.
lordy.
That always seems to happen when I'm streams. I can't hit for nothing. I can't roll dice. All right. I just look scary and just go. If anybody else gets up here, I can help you.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
It looked. Yeah. So it's a 7 to hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Who needs a? Can you save the day?
Well, the probably should have said a prayer to Timur before he came down here, so I'm not going to rely on luck. Worked once before, I'm doing it again. Upcast the magic missile. How many we got in there now? 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. All right. So that's Jewel. Oh, min max there.
15?
Okay. Yeah. 15. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, blue light flickering out of this shadowy form. Andrus
Read a book.
screams. And he looks back at Saren and he says, "You were no mother to me. Flee."
Don't listen to that, sir. That's just the curse of unseelie magic talking.
That's gross.
Okay. Anything else for Hiditsa?
No. Yeah. How's this shadowy figure looking after taking that bucket of force damage?
A little hard to tell, but clearly the
man.
damage is taking.
Well, that's always a hard thing about shadows. Yeah, that's all Hunitz is gonna do here.
How are you flying? Or are you on the stairs?
Yeah, Hunitz is. I mean, this is like what, like a 15-foot tops ceiling.
Yeah,
here?
probably more like 10.
Yeah, no, he's not flying in this.
Okay.
Yeah. Good
So
question though.
Saren charges you from behind and attempts to grapple you.
I don't even bother resisting that.
Okay,
I accept.
she grapples you from behind, speed 0, and she's giving you disadvantage.
I understand. This is what
your
you need to do right
attack
now.
rolls. She says, "Don't harm my son. We can save him."
I understand that this feels important to you, and this feels like you're doing something. So I'm going to let it happen.
Okay, Amer, go ahead.
Get
So
it out.
Amer sees Saren try to grab Winitsa. Amer's had enough, and so Amer turns around and you can now see that the full the fiery embers begin to kind of lift off from Amer's form, and you can see even the hair starting to turn into wisps of fire. And Amer turns to Saren. Saren, You need to stop. I command you under your oath. As a faithful Seraphel, you must stop.
This gives her pause. Go ahead and make an intimidation check, or if you prefer, if there's another tack you're taking here, like you could do persuasion if that's more your intent.
They're both about equal, and I think in this case, Aimer is going to have to kind of pull the less of a friend card in this instance, so it's going to be intimidation.
Great. She looks back at you with insolence, and with a 16, you see her form begin to relax, and she just starts to cry, and she just says, "He's my son. What hope is there for him if you destroy him?"
There's no hope for any of us if he destroys himself and everything here.
And she lets go of Hunitsa.
There, let it all out.
Aimer, do you have a bonus action or any movement you'd like to take?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, the bonus action is I'm going to move the tentacle because I can move it up to, I believe...
Yeah, plenty of space.
Yeah, I have plenty of movement to get there. So it's going to go behind Adrian, and it's going to make another nice little attack roll. And did it go through? It did.
It's like a 13?
13, it looks like 7 cold damage.
13 is the armor class you needed to hit. And 7 is just one above the number of hit points. As your tentacle lashes out, striking Andrus, you see the shadowy form finally just burst under the, all the damage that Adrian and Hunitsa had done. Andrus screams in rage and pain. You see the blue fire just burn itself out. And he is suddenly gone. And you are left just in this room, hearing the creaking of the stones or boards underneath the feet of the skulks in the corner that you can't currently see. And you just hear Saren quietly sobbing.
Hunitsa has her wing on Saren's back and pulls out the bag of sand, looks at Moon, was like, "Ah."
Yeah, give her the sand.
Aimer will change back to a white hair, to the white-haired version of themselves, and the blue outfit returns again. But this time, Aimer just looks down at the floor.
Colbin will walk up and look at her, gauge her comfort, reach out, and just touch the back of her hand.
She doesn't seem to resist or recoil at your touch.
Okay. And he'll look up and he'll say, "Saren, we've all lost a lot, and I know we just met you on the way here. We came from Caer Caladil. Everybody there lost a home. Many of them lost their lives. Loss is following everybody right now. But where we are, there's still hope. Where you are, there's still hope. You carry the hope of your people."
Make a persuasion check, if you would, with advantage. As you're speaking, at first she seems to just be dropping her affect and sort of disengaging emotionally from what she's just witnessed.
Colbin is remarkably charismatic when he's not murder.
Right.
A 15.
Okay. You see her take a deep sigh, and she says, "I'm sure there is hope somewhere, and I'm sure I'll find it. But for now, I will bring death to whatever is responsible for this. And if you help me, then we can work together.
Well, I guess that's hope. It's something.
It's what I've got right now.
We'll take it.
That sounded like revenge. You might have got that confused.
No.
Hope and revenge are very similar.
Anger is one of the most productive emotions.
She takes your hand that's around the bow of the Hluer elves. She kind of gives your hand a squeeze as if to say, keep this, and just kind of nods silently as you see her cry, and she kind of slowly walks up the stairs back to the library.
And when she walks out of the room, I'm going to turn back and say, I'm afraid of her. And I'll turn and follow her up.
Well, is there anything anyone else wants to wrap up? This is the conclusion of the adventure. But the floor is yours for a moment if you want to take any time to kind of narrate how this might affect your character in the days following.
You know, from a player perspective, I know that Hunitsa is not going to be playing any more adventures in this particular festival of the Moonsea. So I'm going to take, if this is an opportunity, to do something that rarely happens. I'm going to retire Hunitsa here at level 3. She loves libraries. She's a huge fan. Not fan's the wrong word. Like, I posted it actually to our. I couldn't figure out how to post it to Twitch, but her personality traits, she likes nothing more than a good mystery. She works to preserve libraries, universities, scriptoriums, and she's easily distracted by promises of information. There's a mystery here with half-finished research notes and an amazing library. Hunitsa's gonna put down roots here and do what she can to continue Anders' work to help try to figure out if there's a way to reverse the skulks here back to their human form or their elven form. And short of that, she'll do what little things she can to take care of them here in Kermoray.
Is anyone interested in helping with that specific, the ritual?
Yeah, Moon definitely is interested in looking at, like, checking out what Andrus has done for research to see where that ritual went wrong, and to try to look into these runes that, like the runic circles that seem to like contain the skulks, and maybe help Hunitsa contain all the skulks in town first so that they're not constantly being snuck up upon by these skulks, and then figure out how to fix them all.
Aimer is definitely going to help as well, most primarily focusing on the candle making, because that seems to have such a strong connection with something with the Shadowfell and possibly hag magic, and so that both deeply concerns Amir, but also it sparks curiosity.
Great.
Adrian has decided everybody up here obviously needs a lot of help right now. There is lots going on, and she can't do any rituals or any of that sort of thing, but she can use her unique skills as a sailor to maybe help with some supplies and things like that.
We need a lot of rendered human fat.
Or is it gotta be human?
Does it have to be? Does that have to be mine?
You do gather as you're going through the research, it needs to be the fat of a humanoid corpse of a person who is not known to the person who is practicing the creation of the candle.
There are a lot of werewolves.
So a stranger's body.
There's a lot of black blood cultists.
It's true.
Why don't we have you all make a group Arcana check, and we can
I'm looking forward to the side quest of us finding all the silverware in town and melting it down to make a silver axe for whoever.
Someone can make this with advantage from Adrian's help, since I assume Adrian's not gonna do, unless you'd rather just do the check. It's up to you, Toni.
No, if somebody, I will poorly assist someone.
I will not.
Is that common again?
Is that common? It's called common. It's called common because how do you not know common?
I could speak common. I just didn't bother to just.
I feel like this is willfulness on your part.
To to Adrian's defense, it's not like the common tongue's literature is that renowned or refined.
And it's not my common tongue. I grew up under the sea.
Also fair.
So Moon, go ahead and make an Arcana check. And you can do yours with advantage.
Yeah,
Still
get
not
that
great.
advantage.
Anything from Colbin or no?
Colbin wouldn't have anything to do with that hag
Okay.
magic.
Great.
Yeah, we're all like, let's do hag magic, and Colbin's like, no.
No. No, there's some things that are too dark.
All right. Well, in time, you do manage to work through the ritual. It takes you longer than you think, though. Maybe each of you receive a message, maybe 10 days later from Hunitsa, who has been hyper-focusing on this project. And eventually, Hunitsa, in this moment, you complete the creation of a burst of energy, a positive energy, spectral fire that illuminates all of the fallen creatures in the library. And you feel their torment end.
Oh.
And a huge sigh echoes through the walls of the library from their still lungs, and the souls are released from their kind of shadow prisons of these transformed bodies. And you do complete Andros's ritual. It has an effect. Who knows how much you'll be able to scale this up and bring relief to all the people who may be affected by it. But at least Dinagal is cleansed from the Shadowfell influence. And in reward, Orwin Reese gives you a charter over Dinagal to be in charge of rebuilding, restoring, and maintaining the library. And if that's the way you want to retire your character,
Absolutely.
that's where we'll find you for the rest of this campaign.
Hunitsa's going to do everything in her power to make Candlekeep look like the public library at Baldur's Gate. Dinagal's going to be like the spot.
I can't agree with that one.
Tony's like, how dare you?
Right. I'm like,
Candlekeep is my heart. Don't even start.
Well, unless anyone else has anything else they want to share or narrate for the end here, we'll go ahead and close this adventure. Thank you so much for playing. Thanks to everyone. We did get some donations, so thank you for contributing to Jasper's Game Day. We raised, it looks like $270 so far, so thank you so much.
All right.
And we will catch you after Winter Fantasy. We'll be back next week. And this time, the schedule will permit, we will actually have Eric Menge here to run Moon 2-3. And I'll have to look up exactly who our cast is, but we'll have some great guests, and check our Twitters for that announcement. And meanwhile, thank you all so much for playing. It's a real pleasure, and let's do it again sometime. We'll send a raid over to, if we've still got, Q Jess Go, a friend of the channel, is currently streaming, so we'll send everyone over there. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks.